we present the best of South African radio drama for your listening pleasure in Radio Theatre. And now, Act 1 of this week's story.
The Blue Ox. See anything your side, Paul?
Yeah, clouds. Big, stinking lumps of cloud.
I think I'll get up a bit. Make sure I'm clear of the Cameling Hills.
On this course, we missed them by 30, 40 miles.
If the navigator's right.
Oh, he's pretty good. I've flown with him before.
Well, I haven't, and I won't again.
You don't give a guy a chance, do you?
A gross error of 15 degrees, and you talk about chances. You ought to lose his blasted ticket, if you ever had one.
Well, maybe he's got a few worries in his mind. Anybody's likely to make a mistake sometime.
Listen, Paul. Whenever I fly, I've got one VIP's neck aboard that's strictly not for braking, and that's my own.
Well, he's got his own neck aboard, too, hasn't he? You don't think he makes mistakes on purpose, do you?
I'm beginning to wonder.
What do you mean by that?
This company engaged me for one flight. A straight 600-mile hop from Hainan to Formosa, which will keep us outside Chinese territorial airspace all the way, and outside Hong Kong jurisdiction. I accepted the job on that basis, but what happens? Last night, Pereira greases up to me, starts to hint that there's another $500 in it if I make a slight detour north. Into China, in other words.
He did that?
You know darn well he did, because you were hanging about on the veranda outside with your ears out like radar scanners.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. And you heard me tell him what to do with his money. Listen, Paul, I got a clean commercial ticket. With it, I can pick up a job like this from time to time. I can eat and just about get by. And I don't want political trouble. I don't want police trouble, customs trouble, any trouble.
Well, who's giving you trouble? The navigator makes a little mistake and you go off half...
that puts us roughly into the position that Pereira wants me to make for. Without enough juice to get back to Formosa.
Well, if you take a look at the chart, you'll see a little patch of white in amongst the green, ringed in pencil. Right at the southern end of the Camlings. Bit rough, but no trouble for a pilot like you. You'll find plenty of juice there.
I see. So you are in it, you little rat. Why didn't you make that trip yourself and leave me out of it?
You just mentioned the reason yourself. Clean ticket. I don't have one anymore. And Formosa's an international airport. I can fly a second pilot, that's all.
You won't be doing that for long. I'm going to make for Hong Kong, and I'm going to hand the whole thing over to the airport police for them to sort out.
Darling, that's the sort of thing that could get you a bullet behind your left ear. If you'd care to take a look around at our friend the navigator, you'll see what I mean.
Yes, I see what you mean. I suppose you don't need me anymore now, is that it?
As far as flying this aircraft is concerned, no. We needed you to get clear of Hainan, but if you're going to be awkward, then you're expendable.
Am I? I think you need me to get this thing down. You're bluffing.
Try calling.
Okay, she's yours. Go on, take over. Oh? What's the matter, Paul? Frightened you won't make that little white patch on the chart?
Don't play around with us, Hallie. Start letting her down here. 1,000 every 2 minutes.
In this pea soup? Oh, no, not me, brother.
Do as I tell you.
Listen. We're flying blind. There are hills ahead. Don't talk like a crazy fool.
Look, I'm warning you, Hallie.
And I'm telling you, I won't do it.
Look, I've flown this way before. We'll come out below cloud at about 3,000, and you'll be able to see clearly.
Now, go ahead, then. What's stopping you? For me, it's Hong Kong or nothing.
Look, we've only got to drop off some stuff, pick up somebody, take on fuel, and we're away again in an hour, and nobody any the wiser.
The cloud's clearing up front. Back on the stick! Full boost! We're heading straight into the lane!
Tom, wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Who are you?
I ask a question. Name?
Helling. Richard Helling.
British.
Yes, I'm British, but where's this place?
I ask a question. British. British imperialist. You pilot that airplane?
In a sort of way, I did.
Give correct answer. I have your
Look, let me get my bearings, will you? I don't know if I'm on my head or... Have a drink of water.
After you answer question, where you come from?
Hainan.
Liar. You come from Hong Kong. You bring arms. Ammunition for traitors this side of border.
I was taking general cargo from Hainan
to where?
to Hong Kong.
Again, you lie. You go to force to enemies of People's Republic.
Oh, make up your mind, will you? A minute ago you said I was coming from Hong Kong to this lousy dump. Making a punch bag out of me isn't going to get you much information.
You're right. This is too soft. We try 2 soldier, 2 bamboo, 1 beating.
I'll get back to your rickshaw.
Now you talk.
What the devil do you want this time? All right. What do you want to know?
Name, please.
Richard Halling.
Place of birth.
Harrow, Middlesex.
Occupation.
Civil Air pilot.
Rank in army.
I've never been in the army. I never was. I tell you, I was in the Air Force once.
Are the same. Rank.
Acting squadron leader.
Major. Your number?
99764.
Spy number.
Spy number? What do you mean, spy number? That's the only number I've got.
Spy number,
I'm
please.
not a spy. I've never been a spy. No. J. 1, 2, 6, 5.
Thank you. Commanding officer.
Wing Commander Smith.
Colonel Smith. First name?
John.
Regiment.
There are no regiments in the Air Force. All right. Royal Horse Marines.
Headquarters.
Piccadilly.
Where at?
London.
Your place of birth.
I just told you.
Tell again, please.
Harrow, Middlesex.
Your number?
99764.
Colonel's name.
John Smith.
Your spy number.
J658.
Which time you lie, Major? First time? This time? 2 time? Hand it! Quick!
Give me a chance, will you? I'll answer it. I'll tell you.
Mr. Halling. Here, drink this. Drink it, you fool. Now, roll over while I put something on your back. You had better bite your fist. This is raw camphor and it is going to hurt. Try not to call out. The guard is not far away.
What happened to my crew?
One is dead. The other, the one called Rayner.
Paul Rayner, my co-pilot.
He is like you, lucky to be alive.
How lucky can you get?
He is not badly hurt.
It will be when I get my hands on him.
There. That will help. The camphor will harden after a time and form a protective layer.
Thanks. Who are you?
The name is Kravchenko.
A Russian. All pals together, eh? Farewell treatment. Rough the customer up a bit first, then send someone along later with the kindness routine. You can tell your rickshaw poor friend it's no go.
I presume you mean Captain Teng Lu. I have no intention of telling him anything because I, too, am by way of being his prisoner.
Routine number 2. Plant a stool pigeon onto the customer. Sorry, there'll be no girlish confidences, Koenko.
Kravchenko.
Whatever it is, get out of here!
Captain Teng Lu is a man who enjoys his work. Try not to move. I brought some cold rice and fish. Soon you must try to eat a little.
What for? To build up my strength for tomorrow's session? Listen, Kravchenko. Can't you get over to Teng Lu that I've got nothing to hide? He makes me lie. Then his goons lay into me. When's it going to end?
When your reflexes are so conditioned that you can't lie to him, then he will start on the next stage. Instinctive and immediate obedience. It is the most elementary form of brainwashing.
But what's he trying to achieve?
Your conversion and eventual Marxian salvation.
Oh, tell him I'm saved. Tell him I've seen the light.
He'll be delighted to hear it. But I'm afraid he won't take my word for it. You'll have to go through the whole process. You see, eventually you will be released and passed back to Hong Kong, where you can be extremely useful to the cause.
Well, he's got a deal. Tell him there's no need to go on with the treatment.
You surely don't think you're going to get off as lightly as that, do you? Just go back to Hong Kong and, what is the term you use in the West? Blow the whole works. Oh, no. The whole conditioning treatment first. Then the normal safeguards against your defection and the always present danger of your turning double spy.
What sort of safeguards?
I am not in Tengu's confidence nor that of his Peking masters. But let me give you a parallel case. It goes back to Korea. An allied major and a captain, both POWs of these people, both worked upon. The major was the more amenable subject. The captain proved obdurate. It worked out very well. The major was merely required to shoot the captain in front of witnesses and, incidentally, a movie camera before he was repatriated.
You're not trying to make me believe that he did.
I'm not trying to make you believe anything. I can assure you it's true enough. I must leave you now. I must drop in and see Captain Rayner. Would you call him flight lieutenant in your army? Good night. Oh, and I leave you these cigarettes.
You dirty, double-dealing louse.
Ah, Major Herring. Come in. Sit, please. Cigarette? Good. Your health. It is better?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Good. You get everything you want?
Yes, everything.
Good. Major, I'm glad to see that you are a very sensible man.
Thank you.
You do not carry malice. Bear malice.
What's the good? One has so many other things to bear.
Proverb, like Confucius. Yes, you are a very sensible man. I sure you are understanding when in early days I have to be severe. We have to get truth. Only way to get truth quick, that is to make untruth very uncomfortable. Even very small untruth. You understand?
I can't say that I enjoy the process, but I think I get the point of it.
I think now we both understand each other. I think now we come to a time when we send you back to Hong Kong. All fixed. No more misunderstanding.
Fine. When do I start?
Soon. Very soon. Just when we fix arrangements about this man, Reno.
Huh? What about him?
I like to say you... All right. You take him with you. But that's not easy.
Why?
He's not a sensible man like you. Not a truthful man. Not a brave man. All the time think only of himself. Tell lies all the time. Makes things very hard for you, Major.
For me? In what way?
Just what I tell you. Until he thinks proper way, until he cooperate, I don't get orders from my superiors to send you back.
I see.
Good. You sensible man. You understand. I try to fix quick, but it's not easy.
Yes, I understand.
I give order for you to have better hut, better food, no guard. Maybe you have to stay here a long time, but you understand that's not my fault. That's Reynolds' fault. You sensible.
What the devil? Listen, we're pulling out of here.
We? Who's we?
Kravchenko and myself.
Kravchenko? You don't mean to tell me that you trust that double-dealing con man?
I don't trust anybody, but I'm taking a flyer on this, and I'm giving you the option of coming with us.
Option? That's no option. If you skin out, what chance have I got? They'll knock me off just like that. Oh, I know how these Chinese think. Look, take your chance. Stay here. If you tell Tangalo about Kravchenko doing a run out on him, the chance will be that much better for you.
I told you how our friend thought.
Oh, you're there too, are you? Yeah, that's the way I think, Kravchenko. What are you going to do about it?
We're wasting time, Major Herring. We've got to get across the compound, and the moon will be up shortly. Leave him to Tenglu's anger.
What's it to be, Paul? Are you coming or staying?
I'm coming.
Right. Lead the way, Kravchenko. Paul, remember this. I'm the only one armed. I'll bring up the rear. And if there's any monkey business from either of you, you'll get it right in the head. Make no mistake about that. Right, Kapchenko. Lead on.
How much more of this? I'm Pete's kid. I've got a rest.
All right, but not for long. We have 1 more mile to go, then we strike off through the swamps, northeast, away from the coast and the airfield. The last direction we would reasonably expect it to take.
And then?
20 miles across the swamps, we come to the railway.
Railway? From what I remember of my aerial maps, there's not a railway within 200 miles of
That's
here.
it, Rusky. Selling you a pup, Skipper.
Keep that mouth of yours buttoned up,
All
Paul.
right, but don't tell me later when we're back in the bag that I didn't tell you.
I said button it up. Go on, Kapchenko.
There is a railway. I have to build it. It runs southeast of Canton quite openly, and apparently ends after some 75 miles at a village called Singfu. It actually disappears into the jungle, screened from aerial observation by dense forestry. A 300-mile green tunnel. It passes within 10 miles of the airfield.
And what's the object of it?
Strategic. It is for when the complete takeover of Vietnam takes place, like the death railway the Japanese tried to build between Siam and Burma during World War II.
Oh, I see. That's why they get so het up when an aircraft strays off course this way.
That is right.
So, we strike the railway. Then what?
2 construction trains run south each day. There are certain places where they must go very slowly. We get aboard under cover of darkness. The dogs! Come! Come, we've wasted too much time. Reynolds, hold my belt.
Right,
Helm,
gotcha.
hold on to Reynolds.
Right.
The current is very strong. Now don't lose your footing. Here we are. Oh, blessed rest.
And ready mosquitoes. Okay, Rusky. Where do we go from here?
Major Herring, I think we should eat a little rice now.
Yeah.
And then sleep. Let our clothes dry, and then towards evening, go on towards the railway.
Do these trains run to any set timetable?
Only loosely. They never run during the day, in case of smoke coming up through the trees, which might be seen by stray aircraft. Some rice?
Thank you.
You?
No, I'm too flogged to eat.
I should advise you to eat. The worst is yet to come. You're going to need your strength.
And I'd advise you to drop dead.
Oh, for the last time, if you can't keep a reasonably civil tongue in your head, then just keep quiet altogether.
This Moscow muskrat.
I warned you. Shut up.
Wait. Do you hear that?
It's a helicopter. Let's have a look out. No, not you two. Keep still. Don't rustle the bamboo. That's the sort of thing they look for. No. I don't think they're spotting us, but we'd better not risk moving until it's darker. You two can get your heads down for a couple of hours. I'll stay awake.
Annie,
Yes?
can we move away from our friend a little? He may be asleep, but I think this is a good time as any to discuss our future movements.
I've been thinking the same thing. Right. Lead on. I think this will do, but let's keep our voices down.
This airfield, it is, as you probably guessed, the one you were making for when you crashed.
Then we got a devil of a long walk ahead of us, not to mention a swim. I was making for Formosa on a perfectly legitimate charter flight.
That is not what Rayner gave us to understand under interrogation.
I don't give a hang what he gave you to understand. What I'm telling you is the truth. Now listen, let's get this straight, Kapchenko. I'm a pilot. I take relief jobs as and where I can find them. I don't fly drugs, gold bars, or illegal immigrants in or out of Hong Kong or any other airport, for that matter.
I believe you.
Well, that's a load off my mind.
But honest operator or not, I take it that you have heard of the Blue Ox.
Oh, of course I've heard of the Blue Ox. There's the Chinese secret guild of smugglers, as old as Confucius.
Exactly. Well, we're heading for a Blue Ox airfield. The one you and, that is this Rayner, was making for when you crashed.
Guessed as much. Some little louse in Hainan tried to get me to divert there. I wouldn't wear it, so my navigator fiddled both the flight plan and, I think, the gyro compass. I know that Paul was in the swindle, too, but I don't know what the swindle was.
He, of course, blamed you and said he was the innocent party.
Paul being Paul Wood.
He said you told him that you were picking up some nationalist agents to fly them back to Formosa.
It was quite possibly the idea, but I knew nothing about it.
I believe you. But the fact remains that this Blue Ox organization does deal in spy running.
Well, since your mob obviously knows all about it, I'm amazed that you haven't done anything to stop it.
Our mob doesn't want to, for the simple reason that they use it too, to run communist agents back.
Beautifully Chinese.
Exactly. The same system operates in Formosa. The Blue Ox has no frontiers.
Wouldn't it be easier for both sides to crack down on them and let it cancel itself out?
Only in the same way that it would be easier for two players in a chess game to swap all their pieces and not play at all. No, Major Helling. This way, both sides are willing to give or take a pawn here and there in order to slip a king, queen, or bishop through the lines. But in a two-way business such as this, there is one fundamental maxim.
What's that?
The Blue Ox demands cash on the nail, or should I say, gold on the nail. The fare to Formosa, Major Helling, is an ingot and a half, or 1,500 pounds sterling, payable before takeoff.
Oh, is it? Well, I have to trust me for mine until I get to Hong Kong.
You will only get the guest house.
The guest house? What's that?
A method they have of cutting the losses. If they betray an agent to the authorities over here, they get a set reward of half an ingot, 500 pounds. The rate the other side in Formosa is slightly higher, I'm told. The guest house is a hut 10 miles from the airfield. If you turned up empty-handed and tried to make a bargain for the future, you would probably be firmly escorted there and locked in. The authorities would then be tipped off, and in the morning you would no longer be there. The half ingot would be on the pillow where recently your head had been resting.
Oh, nice people.
Yes, business people, Major. They have to be, to have remained operative for 2,000 years.
All right, then. What are we doing busting a gut to get there at all?
I can get 3 ingots, but only 3. 2 fares, Major.
Where from?
That doesn't matter altogether.
It does to me. If you can raise 3 ingots, I'm pretty certain you could stretch things to 4.5. I don't like that little filth back there, but I'm not leaving him in the lurch.
I'll try.
You better. You'll get 3 back when I reach Hong Kong, I promise you that. But you haven't answered my question, Kravchenko. Where are you getting it from?
A village near the railway. I've made provision for this some years ago.
Provision for defecting to the west, you mean?
Yes.
Then why did you have to wait until now? You've known the way, you've had the fare, why wait for me?
2 reasons. First, I could not have come through the swamp on my own. Neither could you.
That makes sense. What's the other reason?
This is a big step I'm taking, Major. It would be easier for me on the other side if I had someone to vouch for me. Defectors are always suspect.
Don't count on me, Kravchenko. For all I know, you're just using me to get it in. If you do get back, I'll make it perfectly clear that I'm not vouching for you.
I wouldn't expect you to, but at least you will be able to corroborate my story. And I won't be going empty-handed.
What do you mean by that?
I can give them all the details of this railway. Bridges, dumps, dispersal points in the jungle, a site which I know is to be a base for guided missiles. Those I can point out to you en route. You must know what is going on in Vietnam at this moment. From that you can judge the importance of my information to the West. I can tell them more in one day than their combined intelligence services have been able to learn in 10 years. Now do you see?
Perhaps. All right, I'll take it at that. For the moment. But Paul still goes with us.
No, I'll do my best.
And what guarantee have we that they don't take our money and send us all to the guest house?
I've told you the length of time that they have been in business. If they did things that way, who would trust them? No. If they take your money, they keep faith. Everybody knows that. Everybody accepts it.
All right. What's the next step?
I will go ahead to the village, alone. Unless something goes wrong, I should be back here within 24 hours, with the ingots.
And Rainer and I?
You stay here, Major Helling, and wait. And keep your fingers crossed.
Any more rice left, Skipper?
For the 10th time, no. Look in the bag yourself, Paul.
That lousy Cossack and more than a share coming along. Why don't we up sticks and beat it?
Because we agreed to wait 24 hours for him, and by my reckoning, we still got about another 4 to go. You know that, so why go on?
Well, I've got a good mind to push on alone and take my own chances.
You won't. A, you haven't got the guts, and B, I wouldn't let you if you had.
You don't trust me, eh? Oh, but you trust that commie, letting him off in his ultra-reconnoiter to ditch us. That's what he'll...
Shut up, will you? Just shut up! I'll hit you so darned hard, Paul. You...
Okay. But what are we making for? I'm entitled to know, aren't I?
You're entitled to know just what I choose to tell you. Actually, it's an airfield.
Oh, I thought so. The Blue Ox.
Yes, your pal.
No pals of mine. No pals of anybody except another Blue Ox. But where's the money coming from? There's no cashy, no ID from them, and they'll sell you out just as soon as look at you.
Chenko says he thinks he can get them.
And if you can't, well, leave Simon.
Who's Simon?
Simon?
Yes.
Oh, he's a fella I once heard of. A Pole. One of the comrades. He flies for these Chinese, but he doesn't mind making a fast buck from time to time on the side. Oh, he won't last, though. If the Blue Ox don't knock him off, the comrades will.
Where does he fly from?
I don't know.
Well, try and think. He might come in handy if Kravchenko can't raise the ingots for the Blue Ox. You seem to know a lot about everything else on this side of the border. You better start thinking. There. That's Kravchenko now.
About time, too.
Kravchenko?
Yes, it is I.
Everything all right?
It could be worse. I have some food here. You'd better eat. We have 10 miles to go before daylight.
But we're not that far from the railway line.
Admittedly, but there have been certain innovations since I was here last. The locomotives are now diesels. It complicates things badly.
In what way?
They travel fast. We will have to get on at the proper halting place.
And the nearest one's 10 miles away, is that it?
Yes, to the south. There is a spur line there, where the southbound train stops to allow the northbound one to pass.
In other words, more blasted walking.
Oh, what if there's nothing else for it? The other arrangements all right, Kravchenko?
I suggest you both eat.
You can say that again. Oh, come on, pass it over. What? Lousy rice.
And lucky to get it, my friend. When you're finished, we will start off.
Mustn't be late, must we? We've got a train to catch.
Hour after hour. When's this blasted trip going to end?
When the time comes and I judge it to be not far off, we jump together. At this speed, there is nothing else for it. When I say go, throw the tarpaulin back and jump. When you land, roll down into the ditch at the side of the track, then crawl into the undergrowth. If anybody breaks a leg, he is to be left. Helling, if it should be me, take the canvas bag from me. You know what to do with it.
Yes, I know.
But in that case, I'd be obliged if you leave me the revolver in place of it. I have no wish to be taken alive.
All right, same goes for me. Are you coming with us, Paul?
It's madness, I tell
Please
you.
yourself. Ready when you are, Kravchenko.
Grip the edge of the tarpaulin. I'll count 3. When I say go, throw it back over your head and jump.
Right.
1, 2, 3, go!
I'm coming!
Come on. Got to make more distance.
Yes, but it's no good running blindly. We're going the wrong way. We should have gone downstream, not up.
It's a devil of a time to tell us that now. We can't risk going back.
No, you'd better go a mile or 2 upstream and wait for me. I'm going back.
Going back? What for?
Because we have blundered off the path, and we've got to find it again. And that's only one man's job, not 3. This way we could wander in circles in the jungle. Don't worry, I shall come back for you. Of course, if you wish, Helling, you can come with me, and we can pick up Paul later, when we pass.
Oh, no, you don't.
I suggested that, Helen, because you've seen for yourself how this man weakens under
Now,
stress.
leave me alone.
All right. I trust you, but I better stay with this louse.
Thank you. Then perhaps you'll be good enough to take care of this bag. Careful, please. It's heavy.
What?
Be fair.
Oh. Where do you want us to wait?
Go upstream a mile. Get under the bank. I'll give the same signal as last time. 2 whistles.
Right. Good luck.
Hurry.
Kravchenko, you've been gone a devil of a time.
I'm sorry. I had much to do. Where's Paul?
He's gone.
Splendid. That simplifies things. You have nothing to blame yourself for. You did your best to save the fool.
Simplifies things. You took the fare with him.
What?
I'm sorry. I've got no defense. We took it in turns to sleep, and when I woke up a few hours ago, just when it was getting dark, there was no Paul.
Well, that's it then.
And are you still trying the Blue Ox?
Not now. I've already seen them. They agreed to take the 4 of us for 5 ingots. I promised them plus another 3 when we landed in Formosa. But I haven't got the 5. Well, I told
Did you say the 4 of us?
I'm sorry.
Who's this? Who's that whistling?
This is Lynn.
Oh, the devil's Lynn.
My daughter. The only reason why I embarked on this mad enterprise. And we could have made it. But you insisted on bringing that swine.
I'm sorry, Kapchenko. Does your daughter speak English?
Reasonably. How do you do, Mr. Herring?
How do you do? Forgive me, I can't see you in the dark.
Which is just as well. I'm wearing the very tattered remains of a coolie woman's smock and trousers. The rest is mud.
But you sound English.
Her mother was English. But is this the time for small talk? Herring, what are we going to do? Come on, you shot our chance away. I'm too tired to think anymore.
What's gone wrong?
That rat Paul, the one I was telling you of, had gone with the ingots while our friend here slept. That is all.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Is that all you can say? Oh, dear. Yes, she is English, all right. As English as her mother.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Strum a balalaika and wail about it?
And you? You just laugh!
For the first time in months, I'm indebted to you, Miss Lenton.
A pretty compliment. But I'd rather hear ideas. Have you got any?
Only a walk to the coast and a shot at talking a fisherman and taking us off.
Oh, that's hopeless. Even I could do better than that.
What could you do better than that?
A snake called Simon.
Simon, yes, I've heard about him.
And also hopeless. Without his pound of flesh as hopeless as the Blue Ox.
I think we ought to try him. We might be able to make a deal.
Have you any idea where he operates from?
Well, I could take you straight to his strip. It's a sandbank in the river, about 20 miles from here. But we've got to go through Blue Ox country.
How do you know all this?
Because I've been living in this jungle for over 2 years.
You, European, living with the Chinese and getting away with it?
Living with one Chinese, my Amma. She died 6 months ago, poor old soul.
I'm sorry, I just don't get it.
Oh, it's a long story. Pop. Oh, he's asleep. He's exhausted. Poor old Pop. Just before my mother died, she made him promise he'd send me out to the west. He tried to, but he was betrayed. So he got into awful trouble. He's lucky not to have been shot for it. But the comrades still had a use for him, so they thought. They sent him here. Pop got me smuggled out, and we came here, my Amma and I, in a freight train. Pop's been here for years, waiting for a chance to send me out. There'd been several, but I wouldn't go.
Why not?
I told him I wouldn't go until he did. Now, at last, he's agreed, and you seem to have lasted up.
I do a bit, don't I? Well, we got to put it right, that's all. I agree with you. Let's get bouncing towards Snake Simon. Hey, come on, Kapchenko. Wake up. Kapchenko, come on, let's get moving before daylight.
Well, my friend, you were feeling better?
Yeah, better. Much better. How about another little drink?
Help yourself. That's enough of you. We talk some more, Mr. Reno?
Rayner. Paul Rayner.
And you a pilot, huh? What you pilot?
It was a DC-3. I was second pilot.
Where'd you put her down?
Oh, about 100 miles from here to the north.
When?
About a month ago.
Where you been since?
In the bag. A captain called Teng Lu got it.
And there's others?
Well, the navigator bought it. The skipper and I broke out a couple of nights ago. We jumped a train and came down here.
What were you making for when my men picked you up?
The Blue Ox.
The Blue Ox. You got some dough?
I got a credit.
Wise fellow.
Well, the company's got us all covered.
It's a good company, eh? That's your skipper.
Him? Oh, he left me flat in the night. I twisted my ankle when we jumped, and I couldn't keep up.
Dirty louse.
Yeah, you can say that again.
So you on your way to the Blue Ox, and you got the credit with them, huh?
The company has.
What say I took you out? The company pay me that credit.
Yeah, sure.
How much?
Well, the usual rate, ingot and a half.
Okay, I'm going out tonight.
What in? That old crate outside?
Oh, what you want for an ingot and a half? The pretty stewardesses handing you drinks already? Not pretty, but I give you some more to drink. You look like you could use it and something to eat.
You can say that again. I'll take the eats later. Just a drink right now.
Okay, Polly boy. We get started in it well now. Not a little drink, huh?
You know, my old mate, don't think I could. I got a skinful and a half already. Poor boy. This hut's going round in circles.
Why, it's just one more for the dish.
Yeah, that. Just where that little string bag of yours is going to finish up. You know something? I don't fly one of those since I checked out.
But she flies like an angel. there. Happy landing, Polly boy, huh?
Happy one.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, boss?
I thought this guy was never going to ditch. Didn't I tell you to make his the first bottle?
I did. That guy got half an ounce of raw opium in his guts.
He'll have a head in the morning, eh? That's if old Teng Lu doesn't take it off this one pipe. He could do. He's plenty angry, you know. Is that his bag?
Yeah, and guess what's inside, boss? 5 ingots.
Lovely. And he said he didn't have dough, only credit. Get him across to the guest house and let Teng Lu know. That's another half ingot we'll collect.
You want him across tonight?
Why not? To get him slung on the bamboo pole with half a dozen coolies on it.
Okay.
And get ready for 3 more callers.
3 more?
That's what Teng Lu said. The Russian, this guy's skipper, and the girl. They know the girl was down here for a couple of years, and they want her. And boy, do they want that Rusky. They paid 3 ingots each for him and the girl, but only a lousy half for the pilot. But they want them alive, got it?
Sure, Simon, but won't they be heading for Blue Ox country?
They might have been, like the 5 ingots in this Raynor's bag might have been. You get it?
You mean he pinched their getaway dough?
Could be. And if they got no, they gone down to the Blue Ox, eh? They come to Simon.
There's the sandspit below.
Yes.
Yes, and the plane's there.
Yes, I can see that.
Anything wrong with it?
No, nothing but age and its capacity. It can only take 2, the pilot and 1 passenger.
If we can make a deal, he'll have to fly 3 times. Lynn, then you, then me. You understand me?
I understand you, but I suggest we make the deal first. Okay, let's get down.
Helling, be careful. Be careful and remember what I told you.
Come on, let's get down.
We'll take
Hey.
you.
Don't try anything. They got us covered.
Sensible fellow, eh? These coolies don't look good, but they can shoot.
Are you one of Simon's men?
That's right.
We want to talk business.
I heard you. Okay. Get moving. Simon likes to talk business.
So, the jungle gets like Piccadilly Circus, eh? You know Piccadilly Circus?
Yes, and I'd like to renew acquaintance. Listen, Simon, we want to make a deal.
Sure. Always open the deals. What's yours?
3 trips, 2 ingots each. You get paid each time you set one of us down on the other side. Is it a deal? We haven't got much time. We've passed a squad of Teng Lu's men in the jungle, heading this way. You know what that would mean for you if we were found here? You haven't got protection like the Blue Ark.
We're here already, are they? Who says Chinks can't march? They were talking to me over the radio from Sanling only 2 hours ago.
What?
You'd better have a drink. It's pretty dry where you were going.
He's handing us over.
You dirty, double-dealing little rat.
I've been called worse. You was more to me sure from Teng Lu than maybe from Hong Kong. Easy, mister. This is only a little gun, but it makes big holes.
No! Till we get a chance to use it. I should hold until we get away.
But how? What about the others?
Listen, we'll leave this hut and stroll, and I mean stroll, towards the plane. Laugh, talk, anything you like. They'll be puzzled, wondering where Simon is. Just let's hope they're not trigger-happy. Now, when I shout go, you, Lynn, get into the passenger seat. Get your head down.
Yes, but what is...
Don't argue, do as you're told. I'll take the cockpit. Kapchenko, you'll spin the prop when I yell for it. Do you know how?
I know. I was for a long time a member of the Shanghai Flying.
Good. When she fires, whip the chocks away, and be careful. I'll hold her on the brakes, but she'll want to jump forward.
I know.
Then get up on the port wing route and hang on for your life. Everything clear?
It is clear. But, Herring, do not endanger yourself because of me. Take her, come back for
Come back? How can I come back, you fool? Listen, we all go, or none of us goes.
All
You
right.
get it?
All right, I know my part.
Lynn?
Yes, I'll do as you say.
Right, let's get on with it. Start walking and try to give those lousies out there the idea that nothing's wrong. Come on, they've bought it so far. You ready?
Yes, ready.
Go.
Right. Go! Lynn, into the plane, quick! Now don't swing her until I give you the word, Captain. Go! Right. Blast, they're caught up! Quick along. Lynn, lean over to starboard, to the right. With your old man on the port wing, he's going to need ballasting. Now, contact! Quick, Captain, go! On the wing! Captain, go! Lynn! Earphones! Yes, those things. Put them on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm sorry, Lynn. There was nothing else to do.
You left him. You left him.
Then he was dead. I saw a bullet hit him in the head. Believe me, my dear, he was dead before we took off.
Where are we now?
See that misty hump ahead of us? That's the peak at Hong Kong, about 50 miles away. I put it down in a little over half an hour.
Hong Kong. It could have been another life for him.
Lynn, should I tell you something?
What?
He never intended to come. He told me last night while you were sleeping. You can't teach an old red dog new white tricks, he said. I tried to persuade him, but I knew it was no good. Just take her into the light, he told me.
He never believed in them. Never, never.
I wonder. He was angry, bitter, disillusioned, but even so, he couldn't take that final step. But that wasn't politics. He was an individual, a human being. And while there are people like him, on both sides, there's hope. Be brave, Lynn. We're going down now. Into the light.
This is Henry Diffenthal, and it is my pleasure to present to you tonight a comedy called Cat in the Bag, starring Tony Wood, Maureen Adair, Roger Service, and John Kingsley.
You'll do.
Oh, I didn't see you there, Olive.
No, you wouldn't. You were drowned in your reflection, sunk without a trace.
What do you think of this tie?
Very little.
Mary bought it for me.
Oh, I might have guessed. It looks like her. More enthusiasm than taste.
Well, it's bright and cheerful. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. There's nothing wrong with Blackpool illuminations, but I wouldn't wear them round my neck.
I won't have my own daughter telling me what to wear and what not to wear. Isn't it time you were on your way?
Oh, I'm in two minds whether to go or not.
Oh, I thought it was all arranged.
Well, what time's she coming?
Who? Mary Fletcher?
Who else?
Oh, about 8, I expect. Not before.
I've got plenty of time, then.
That's nothing at all to do with it. You're not going out because Mary's coming.
No.
Look here. You'll enjoy yourself once you get there. You're in this house far too much. All day and every day.
I like being in the house. There's plenty to do.
Well, it wouldn't hurt you to get out and meet more people. See new faces. Oh, you must get tired of mine.
Well, I don't complain, do I?
No, but...
So why should you?
I'm not complaining, but I don't think it's right for you to live like a hermit. You're a pretty girl.
Girl? I'm 32.
Well, that's no age. Good heavens, look at me.
I am looking.
If you want to sit here and have a drink with us and get to know Mary properly, well, that's all right with me. But it seems a pity to miss your party.
Don't worry, I wouldn't waste an evening talking to Mrs. Fletcher. She's not my type.
She's a lovely person. You'll see in time you'll be getting on very well together.
Oh, yes, you'll be getting on splendidly. On each other's nerves.
Oh, you won't even try, will you? Your whole attitude's been hostile from the word go.
Well, what else do you expect? I've run this house alone for the past 10 years.
You've done a wonderful job, Olive. I don't know how I could have managed without you. But I suppose it's never occurred to you that there may be more to marriage than housekeeping. Darn it all, a man wants a wife to share his bed.
Don't say that. Don't ever say anything like that to me again. It makes me sick to hear. Sick.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's not... It's nothing personal.
Oh, we shouldn't be fighting like this. After all, it won't make so much difference to you when Mary comes to live here. You can carry on as before.
And be her servant.
Why have you taken such a dislike to her? She's done her best to be friendly, but you won't even meet her halfway. What have you got against her?
She's common.
Oh, go
Don't swear.
Well, it's enough to make anyone swear. That's what a fancy school does for you. Turns you into a snob. She's common. What am I and what are you when you come down to brass tacks?
Oh, Dad.
It may be Ashton and Beswick now, but my father was a brickie. A common brickie. And don't you forget it. Oh, I'll go.
Oh, are they all right? Yeah. It's a bit parky tonight, isn't it?
George.
Oh, you needn't have rushed then.
Hello, Olive. Hey, you were looking smart.
She's going out.
Have you decided for me?
I was explaining the dress.
Is there any of that medicine left in the bathroom?
Well, you should know. You had it last.
Oh, don't tell me you're suffering again.
Oh, I'm in knots. I'm in agony. An iron hand is clawing up me guts. Nobody knows what I endure. They don't, nobody. It's all right, don't worry. I'll find me own way.
Oh, he knows the way better than we do. Why can't he keep his medicine in his own bathroom?
Because he doesn't want his wife to know he takes it. She put him on steamed fish and milk puddings.
Oh, do him good. You'd think he'd have the sense to see that he's digging his grave with his teeth.
He's old enough to know what he's doing.
Age and wisdom don't always go together. I'll write that on your bedroom wall.
I wouldn't take any notice of it if the letters were 10 feet high. I'll go.
Oh, hello, love.
Well, come
let me
inside.
get near that fire.
Are you cold, my love?
Oh, it's only me feet. Oh, how to get chilblains. Oh, hello, Olive.
You should have let me drive round for you.
Oh, no, thanks, no, thanks. It sets too many tongues wagging.
Oh, let 'em wag. My intentions are strictly honourable.
I know, and it makes a change, I can tell you. Men, they're all the same, aren't they, Olive?
I wouldn't know. I'll go and get my coat.
Oh, is she going out?
Yes, thank goodness.
Oh, you.
Come
Get
here.
away.
Come
Did
here.
I leave my cardigan in here?
I don't see one.
It must be upstairs. I forgot to tell you, Dad, there's something wrong with the television. I phoned them up about it.
Oh, all right, Olive. Thanks.
There's not much on tonight, anyway.
I'm going now.
Have a nice time.
Enjoy yourself and don't overdo... Cat.
What I want to know is, when shall I be allowed to kiss my own sweetheart in my own house?
Hey, that's a funny old word, sweetheart.
I'm a funny old man.
Don't say that. You don't look a day over 50, especially with your hat on.
All right, I'll wear my hat in bed then.
Yeah, it's as well Olive can't hear you. Howard, something's bothering me.
Me too.
Oh, no, stop it. Listen, it's important. We've got to talk about Olive.
Why?
Well, I don't think she likes me.
What on earth gives you that idea?
Well, there's her manner, for one thing. The way she looks at me as though I was something a cat had dragged in. It's time you found out how she feels about us getting married, about me coming to live here.
It's none of her business.
Well, she's got to accept me, Howard.
You've accepted me, and that's what counts.
Aye, well, it's all very well making plans. But what about afterwards? After the honeymoon? We'll be coming back here. 2 women in one kitchen, Howard. It never works, you know.
Darn it all. I can't throw the girl out. This is her home.
Well, I wouldn't want you to, Howard. I wouldn't like to trample on anyone's feelings, but... Well, it would be nice if she moved out of her own accord. Say if she got married herself.
Married? Olive?
Well, why not?
Oh, I can't picture it somehow.
Oh, I can. It'd be the making of her. Past 30 and never a nibble. No wonder she's sour.
She's never been one for boyfriends. As far as I know, she couldn't care less.
What makes you so sure? Perhaps she's too proud to let on. Oh, good evening, Mr. Blakely.
Hello, love. Here, you were looking well.
Thanks.
Oh, tell me if I'm in the way.
You're in the way.
Howard.
What's up with you?
I'm fed up.
Oh, hey, it's still on, isn't it? You haven't fallen out.
It's Olive.
She's been awkward. I suppose it's only natural.
It is for her. With your Olive being awkward as natural as breathing.
Now, George. Mary says it won't work, the 3 of us together.
Dead right, you know it won't.
You must know a lot of people.
Ah, well, I know most people.
I wonder... You wouldn't know of a nice man for Olive.
Mary.
You what?
I was just wondering whether you could put us on to a nice young man for Olive.
Oh, hush, hush. Keep it dark. Do you want the whole town to be alerted? Mass evacuation of all eligible males. They'll take to the hills.
We'll have less of that if you don't mind, George. Remember you're talking about my daughter, and she's a very capable girl.
That's one thing I've always said about Olive. She'd be capable of anything.
Well, have you anyone in mind?
Well, there's a fella called Charlie Moffat.
He's got a wife here and a woman in Leeds. Any other bright ideas?
Well, he's got a nephew staying with him. Ah, you see, you didn't know that, did you? He's been lodging with him since his sister-in-law died. Frankie's name is. Well set-up chap. Single.
How old is he?
Ooh, late 30s, no more.
And still single? What's wrong with him?
Nothing wrong with him. He's always lived with his mother. Happens she made him so comfortable he never wanted to leave. Well, do you want me to have a word with Charlie? Arrange a sort of meeting?
Aye, but do it tactfully.
All right, leave it to me. I am a master of intrigue. I've got his number somewhere here in my wallet.
You're not going to telephone him now.
Of course I am. You've heard about hot irons, haven't you?
Yes, but I mean, even so, I mean, he's not...
Well, you can tell him to tell yourself. I've done my bit.
He's not coming.
He really is.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Blakely.
Go on, call me George.
Hey, you know, I've always liked that name. It's got a solid ring to it.
Well, I only live over the way. If he gets above himself, give us a scream.
There he goes, the master of intrigue.
Oh, let him alone. He did very well.
Oh, it's a rotten business. Why can't two people be happy without making a third suffer for it?
Oh, don't look so miserable, love. Then I take to each other straight off. At least you'll be able to have a word with him first, in confidence.
What do I say? I have for disposal one daughter who's done good service, but has now been declared redundant.
Oh, of course, if you're going to feel guilty about it.
I do feel guilty.
Well, I don't. Heaven knows I've tried. I've bent over backwards trying to get on the right side of Olive. Has she ever wondered what she'll do with the rest of her life after you've gone?
I suppose that's the right way to look at it.
Oh, it's a sensible way. Here, did you hear somebody in the hall? What was that?
Oh, he can't be here already. Besides, how would he get in?
Oh, perhaps it's George.
Well, not now. No, it must be. It can't be.
It's only me.
It is.
But why? Why so early?
Blessed if I know, but it's going to be awkward now, isn't it?
Hello, you two. Well, what's the matter? Don't you recognize me? I live here. The name's Ashton.
Oh, I didn't expect you home so early.
Oh, I'm sorry if I disturbed you.
It's not that, but didn't you enjoy it?
Do I ever? Shouldn't have gone. Wasn't that the bell?
What?
I thought I heard the bell. There it goes again.
I think there's somebody at the door, Howard.
Very likely.
I'd better go.
Oh, tell him to go away.
Tell who to go away?
Whoever it is.
Do you know who it is?
No.
Well, you seem very sure that you want him to go away.
Well, I have an idea who it might be.
Then why don't you answer me?
Howard, it's him. He said...
Good evening. I hope I've come to the right house. You Mr. Ashton?
Yes, he is. Aren't you, Howard?
What? Yes, I am. Did you want to see me?
Well, the message I got was that you wanted to see me. My name's Moffat. I had this phone call, you see.
Oh, never mind that now. Come and sit down. You must be thirsty.
What can I get you?
Well, nothing right now, thanks. I was surprised, really, because I've only met this chap once, and when he rang me up this evening, I thought it was just
you must be perished turning out at this hour.
Oh, a touch of frost won't kill me. Hello.
Oh, you have not met Olive. Olive, this is...
Moffat, Chris and Frank. How do you do? Are you cold?
I've just come in.
Here, allow me to take your coat.
Thank you. I'll just put it in the hall.
My daughter.
Is she always so quiet, Mrs. Ashton?
Not always.
And I'm not Mrs. Ashton.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
it's Howard's fault for not introducing us properly. He's a widower, actually.
I see.
I'm Mrs. Fletcher.
Soon to be, Mrs. Ashton.
The trouble is...
Not now, Mary.
Listen, love, one of us has to speak. The poor fellow's in a daze. He probably thinks we're all dotty.
I admit I'm not completely in the picture.
Well, let me put it this way.
Olive.
Have you any special interests, Mr. Moffat?
Well, not outside of my work, no.
Oh, that's good.
Are you sure you won't have a drink?
Perhaps he'd rather have a cup of tea. I thought you would.
Tea at this time?
Well, tea's welcome any time.
It doesn't suit you after 6, and you know it. And don't blame me if you're up and down half the night.
Sweet girl. She worries about her dad. She's looked after him for 10 years, you know, been like a mother. Isn't that so, Howard?
As good as gold.
Only it's tricky now, if you understand me, I mean.
Oh?
You know, well, I'll be taking over from her.
Oh, and she'll be in the way.
I've every right to marry again.
Oh, I'm sure you have. In any case, it's no business of mine.
The trouble is that Olive's got used to being mistress of this house, you see.
Well, that's understandable after 10 years.
It's maybe so, but what's to stop her from having a house of her own? She's got no ties. Do you follow me?
I'm not sure.
As a matter of fact, we didn't expect her back so early, did we, love?
No.
We were hoping
No.
to have a quiet word with you beforehand.
I see.
I'd appreciate it if you'd treat all this in strict confidence.
You can rely on me, Mr. Ashton. Where is she now?
Well, in the kitchen, I should think, but...
Well, which way is that? Now, don't bother. I'll find it.
He's ruddy quick off the mark.
Shall I keep you company till your father gets back from taking Mrs. Fletcher home? Or am I keeping you up?
No. I'm waiting up for him in any case. I always make him a hot drink before he turns in.
Does Mrs. Fletcher live far from here?
Jubilee Terrace. He shouldn't be long.
Why don't you relax?
I am perfectly relaxed.
Then why have you got both fists clenched?
I haven't. Oh,
You've been on edge all evening. I've been watching you.
then that's probably why.
No, something's biting you. I noticed as soon as I came in. Wish you'd tell me what it is.
I wish you'd stop trying to analyze me. It's very rude.
I'm sorry. I'm always direct. My name's Frank, and I try to live up to it. You're shy, do you know that?
I am not shy.
Yes, you are. I must say it's quite refreshing. You know, most of the girls I meet are too forward. They practically throw themselves at you.
I suppose that's one of the penalties of being irresistible.
Oh, back into the cheese, Frank Moffat. And this is a pleasant room. Did you choose the colour scheme?
Yes?
I could take a flat, I suppose, and get somebody in to do it for me.
Why don't you?
Too lazy. That's my worst fault, idleness. What's your worst fault?
If I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Well, I expect I shall be able to find out for myself, sooner or later. I like my work, but around the house I'm bone idle.
Perhaps you've been spoiled.
Now, that's what Auntie Lily says. She was nattering on this evening. I was glad of an excuse to come away. So, when I received a mysterious phone call... You know, I'm still not sure why I was invited here.
Neither am I. I wasn't told anything about it until you walked in.
And it was too late to run. You stood and stared like a cornered rabbit, and then you froze. You're still frozen. Ice cold hands in a room like an oven.
Is that the... no, I thought I heard the car.
Now give the man a chance to say goodnight properly. Look, it was at the back of his mind all evening. Here, come and sit on the sofa, and I'll let you hold my hand.
You must be balmy.
Why? Because I've taken a liking to you.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Well, I hope you don't expect me to be grateful.
You know, that's one of the things I like, your independent spirit. I like your quick intelligence and your shyness and your rare smile. The way you keep pulling your skirt down over your knees.
And best of all, you like the settlement that comes with me.
What?
I hope my father remembered to mention it when he invited you over to inspect the goods. She's 32 and sound in wind and limb, an opportunity not to be missed, bargain of the month. That's me.
Aren't you letting yourself jump to conclusions?
I'm not far out, am I?
We've been introduced, that is all. We have met. There is nothing unusual or sinister about that, is there? Look here, if I don't appeal to you, tell me. I won't bother you again. Now, get this straight. If I wanted to marry for money, I'd do it properly. I'd find myself a really wealthy widow and spend the rest of my life curled up in her lap like a poodle. I intend to get ahead under my own steam. I've got the qualifications. I've got plenty of patience. I'm prepared to be patient with you. To wait and see whether we can, well, develop any sort of relationship. But I'm darned if I'm going to let you insult me. Now, wooing is one thing, but crawling is another. First a smack in the eye, then a left to the solar plexus. Oh, crikey, you winded me with that last one. You took my breath away.
Is that why you've so little to say for yourself?
I do go on a bit, don't I? Well, where does that leave us? If I come again, would you let me in?
Yes. Yes. Drop in any time, any evening, every evening. Have lunch with us on Sunday.
Thanks very much.
I'm sorry if I seem standoffish. I don't meet many people, and
Look, you're shy. There's no need to apologize. I saw it at once.
I'm afraid you'll have to be patient with me.
Didn't I say I would?
Oh, so you did. I don't think I'll wait for Dad any longer. Oh, is this your coat?
Yes. Give it to me then. I won't bite you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good night, Olive.
Oh,
hello,
you
Mr. Ashton. Yes, on my way.
Well, cheerio. Did you both have a nice chat?
Where have you been?
Mary couldn't find her key. Hey, I'm peckish. What about some supper?
You can get it yourself!
I wonder who told her.
Oh, I've no idea. I'm sure I didn't. If George Blakely's got no respect for his stomach, that's his own lookout. I wouldn't dream of interfering.
What happened exactly?
His wife came and took his medicine away. She'd already got 3 bottles in her basket, so I fancy she'd been combing the neighbourhood.
What did she say?
Not much, but I've a feeling our friend will find a coddled egg for his dinner this evening, and a nice glass of warm milk.
Poor old George.
Oh, I've no sympathy for him. The man's a pig.
Let he that is without sin... I say, Frank's not coming tonight, is he?
Yes. Any objections?
Plenty. He's here 5 nights out of 7, hogging the sofa and talking as if he'd been wound up.
Well, you've no one to blame but yourself. Drop in any time, you said.
Did I?
Always happy to see you. You were most insistent about it.
Well, I don't remember. I might have said something of the sort, I suppose. Only polite. But all the same, there's a limit to hospitality. Why doesn't he take you out?
Oh, perhaps he can't afford to.
Of course he can. He can't be bothered, that's all. He uses most of his limited strength to get here, and what's left goes straight to his jaw.
He's tired at night. It's very demanding work that he does.
Don't tell me. I've heard all about it in exhaustive detail. Am I allowed out this evening?
Not unless you take us with you.
What's the matter? Don't you trust him?
Not entirely. Besides, he might think we were trying to compromise him.
Rubbish. You've got some cockeyed notions, Olive.
I got this one from Frank. He makes jokes about there being safety in numbers, but I know what he's driving at.
You're quite taken with him, aren't you?
I can't afford to be choosy.
Oh, don't say that, love. I only want to see you happy and settled.
I was happy and settled before all this.
You thought you were.
Oh, have it your own way. I don't want to argue about it anymore.
Oh, heck. I've all but broken me back crawling out of this fella's car.
Oh, it's built for speed.
Aye, it takes you 2 minutes to get here and 15 to wriggle your way out. Hello, love.
I'd have called for you, love, but Olive said you'd be stock taking until late and didn't know what time you'd be ready.
Oh, no, we finished yesterday. Don't you remember, Olive?
Oh, yes, I remembered afterwards. So I rang Frank.
You shouldn't have done that. I would have gone.
Well, there wasn't much point in you turning out, especially, Dad, when Frank was passing anyway.
Passing anyway, yes.
I could have driven over for you.
Oh, what difference does it make, as long as I got here?
Now then, what are you girls having?
Girls? Does that include me?
It doesn't include Frank, I hope.
Dad, I think you've made him jealous, Mary.
Never. You're not jealous, are you, Howard?
I've got some hot coffee ready. Oh, will you help me bring it in, Frank?
At your service.
You should see your face. Here, mind you don't curdle the gin.
Well, you should have seen the way you walked in with him.
Well, I was only being friendly.
Too ruddy friendly. Like that nonsense at the fair last Saturday.
Do you mean when he won me the goldfish?
Not that. When you were squashed up against him in the Dodgem car.
Well, that wasn't my fault. I'm bonny, and you wouldn't come on with me.
I should think not. Fairs are for kids.
Oh, they're fun, though. Harmless.
Senseless. It was a daft notion of yours to go.
Of mine? I didn't suggest it, Olive did.
Well, she said you did.
She probably doesn't like to admit that she enjoys anything so vulgar. But she suggested it. I said I didn't think it would suit you, and I was right. I've never seen you in such a temper, and I shouldn't care to see it again.
And while we've got the chance to talk alone for a few minutes, which doesn't seem to be very often these days, What was Frank doing at your house on Sunday morning?
I've told you, fixing me a towel rail.
Well, you could have asked me.
I was going to, but I mentioned it to Olive and she sent Frank. He's very handy. It was only a case of filling the plaster where it had come away. He used something out of a tube, sets hard in seconds.
Does it now? Well, it's a pity he doesn't brush his teeth with it.
Besides, Olive says you need your rest on Sundays.
Olive should mind her own business. It was a grand morning, and I thought we could go for a run on our own for once. Look, let's get out of here.
Where do you want to go?
Anywhere. Your house, a pub.
But
anywhere but here.
But I've just got comfy and Olive's baking. She'll be offended.
Oh, who cares?
Well, I do for one. Goes to a lot of trouble to see that everyone has a good time. She's improved out of all recognition since she met Frank. And you ought to be grateful to him instead of knocking him all the time.
I'm always perfectly polite.
Are you?
Here we are, then. All we want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper coffee pot.
I may be off my dot,
but all we want is a proper cup of coffee. Does my imagination play me false, milady, or is the master not in the best of humours?
I think he's upset because I came in your car.
Well, would you call that reasonable?
Would you?
It's not as though it were a vehicle which could lend itself to hanky-panky. Although amazing feats have been performed in confined spaces before now, eh?
What's the joke?
Oh, I couldn't possibly tell you.
Oh, if it's like that, I wouldn't want to hear. Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in a huff about something.
Oh, he's been so edgy lately. But, Mary, you have to make allowances. The winter gets him down. It's his cough.
I never heard him cough.
Oh, it's only at night. As soon as he puts his head on the pillow. Oh, it's pitiful to hear him.
Does it keep you awake?
Oh, many a time. And then he can hardly drag himself down to breakfast. He's like death warmed up.
Like what?
Like death warmed up?
Now, look, don't mention anything. He's very touchy about it, Mary. I'll hide his glass. And he's had quite enough already, and he's murder to nurse when he's poorly. Oh, yes, it hasn't always been easy.
You have all my sympathy.
Oh, there you are, Dad.
What you looking at me like that for, Mary? I'm sorry if I was discourteous, Frank.
Oh, forget it, Mr. Ashton. We all have our off days. Oh, can I pour you some coffee?
Well, I left a drink somewhere.
Have coffee.
Oh, all right.
Hey, you're not smoking again, Howard.
What's that?
But you were putting one out when I came in.
So what? You've never objected before.
Oh, well, if you'd sooner cough, then cough.
Cough? I never cough. Olive will bear me out. Olive, do I ever cough?
No, Dad.
There you are, you see.
I learned a new card trick today. Where are the cards, Olive?
Oh, in the dining room. Sideboard. Right-hand drawer, I think.
All right, I'll get them.
I'll go and top the coffee up.
Why are you such a wet blanket?
The man's a thumping, thundering, crashing bore.
He's only trying to be pleasant and entertaining. It's better than sitting and sulking.
What do you want me to do? Learn how to bark God Save the Queen or jump through a hoop?
Yes, I can see how it's going to be when we're married. We'll sit in here with the curtains drawn, staring at each other and yawning.
Not at all. I'm as sociable as the next man. But I've been having too much of it lately. And too much of him out there. Laughing boy. Here, give us a kiss.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, I thought Olive was here. Sorry, I'll beetle off.
Get your coat.
Get lost.
Oh, come on.
I'm not moving. If you want to go, go on your own and welcome.
Listen, Mary, we're not kids. How long do you expect me to... I shall go balmy.
You sit down and behave yourself.
Oh, it amuses me the way you defend your honour. I hope you're not trying to convince me that you've led a life of blameless virtue.
Here, just what are you suggesting?
That you're a woman with a big, generous heart, and I love you for it. I don't care who you've known or how well before we met.
Don't do me any favours.
I'm not being condescending. All I'm trying to say is...
Well, here's the cards.
And here's the coffee.
Oh, heck.
My head aches. I think I'll go home if you don't mind, Olive.
Oh, would you like an aspirin?
No, I'll be all right, thanks. Cheerio, Frank.
Good night, Mary. I'm sorry about the head.
Oh, it's nothing much.
Mary, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Well, poor Mary.
Oh, she looked pale.
Not her usual self.
No.
Well, here we are then, all on our ownio. An unexpected situation, not to say rare. You're looking darn pleased with yourself.
Oh, am I? I was thinking about something. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying it was unusual for us to be alone together.
Why be alone? The more the merrier.
Well, there's not been a lot of merriment this evening.
Oh, well, Dad was being difficult.
He and Mary don't seem to be as fond of each other as they used to be.
Don't you think so?
No. You know, it'd be better if we were out of the way. Why don't you come out with me? I've asked you time and time again. You always make some excuse.
Oh, we're always going out.
In a foursome. Now, that's not the same thing at all. Olive, stop shuffling those plates and sit down. Now, come on.
Oh, all right.
We've not had a straight talk since we first met. Now, there's a house for sale at Moor Green. Shall we look over it?
Oh, it seems silly to buy a house from strangers when Dad's a builder.
Well, this one's almost completed. It's the right size and the right price. Now, we've come to what's called a tacit agreement, but it won't do. You can almost feel the words we've left unspoken hanging between us like an invisible curtain. That curtain is always going to be there until I say them and you answer. Now, Olive...
I don't know why Dad wouldn't eat anything.
You never listen properly.
I was listening.
What was I saying?
About a house.
No, after that.
About the curtains?
I give up. I give up. I give up. I'm beating my head against a stone wall here. Good night, Olive.
See you tomorrow.
I'll see you in hell first. Do you think I'm daft? Do you think I haven't seen what you've been up to? What? You've been using me. You've been stringing me along a convenient fourth so that you could plague Howard and tell Mary the tale. He's cranky and unbearable, and he coughs at night.
Well, he does cough at night.
I wonder. You've been doing your level best to part them, and then what? What's the next step in the master plan? You give me the old heave-ho, I suppose, once I've served my purpose. Thank you for all your hospitality. If I could have prized you out of this house, I'd have been glad to return some of it. Say goodbye to your father for me. I'll drop him a line. Oh,
Are you still here?
I was just leaving.
Want to buy an engagement ring? Going cheap.
No, thanks.
Would you mind seeing yourself out?
It will be a pleasure.
You came back in the nick of time.
What do you mean?
I told you I didn't like to be left alone with him.
He didn't try anything, did he?
The minute you closed the door behind you, oh, it was awful. Where are you going?
The ring is runny neck.
Oh, let him go. Oh, Dad, come and sit down. I'm glad to see the back of him.
Well, I'm sorry, love, but I thought he was decent.
Decent? Oh, you don't know the half of it. And it hasn't made it pleasanter knowing that I was second choice.
Second to whom?
To Mary, of course. She's round where I'm flat, and she's forgotten more about love than I'll ever learn.
Oh, never mind. It's all over now, at any rate. And we're both in the same boat.
Do you want anything?
No, thanks. Go to bed. You look tired out.
I'm going to have a bath.
The plain fact is you're too good for any of them. Good night, love.
Good night, Dad. Don't sit up too late.
What's that?
Let me in.
What the heck do you want? What do you think you're doing?
Oh, just let me get through. Where's Olive?
Have you gone raving mad?
Is she upstairs?
Yes, she is. And you're not getting past this door.
Has she gone to bed?
You've got the cheek of the devil.
Look, I'm sorry, I know it's late,
If I were 20 years younger, 10 years younger.
Now, look, Mr. Ashton, you're not too old to marry again.
I'm too old to give you the hiding you deserve.
Me? Why? Oh, what have I done?
Don't come the ruddy innocent with me. I don't know what sort of girls you've been in the habit of associating with. Well, Olive's not like that.
Well, of course she isn't.
She's not cheap.
And whoever suggested she was?
You, by treating her like all the rest. By taking advantage of an inexperienced girl in her own home where you've been made welcome. It's more than I can...
What are you talking about? I haven't touched her.
I find that very hard to believe in view of the evidence.
What evidence?
Her clothes were disarranged.
Huh, were they? Were they indeed disarranged? Well, if they were, believe me, Mr. Ashton, she disarranged them herself.
Are you calling my daughter a liar?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm calling her.
Now, look.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Ashton. There's something that you ought to know, and it won't hurt you to listen.
I see you're busy.
I usually am.
Sewing for your trousseau?
No.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. Where's your dad?
Gone out to buy himself new pajamas. He's got 6 pairs, but evidently they're not smart enough to take on holiday.
He's never thinking of holidays already.
He's not only thinking, he's going.
When?
Today.
Funny times of the year to go away.
Sprang it on me suddenly this morning. 9 o'clock and too late to cancel the beef. No consideration. Oh, still, if it'll cheer him up.
Why, has something upset him?
Haven't you heard what's happened?
No.
They've parted. He and Mrs. Fletcher.
No.
In other words, the marriage has been postponed indefinitely. Well, don't look so shocked. I wasn't. I've been expecting it for some time.
But he was dotty about her.
Dotty's the word. Anyway, he says he wants to think. As if he couldn't think perfectly well at home, in comfort.
But what about you? You were going to have your hands full, Olive, with 2 men to look after.
No, I won't be getting married. My first duty is to my father.
You never intended to marry him, did you?
Everybody else has been doing the intending. I simply let matters take their course. We're all back to square one now, which suits me very well.
So, you've been leading us up the garden path, straight up the garden path.
And through the gate.
My word, you were cool. How long's he been gone?
About 2 hours.
2 hours to buy a pair of pyjamas?
He's fussy.
Oh, the same, 2 hours. Hey, I hope he's all right.
Of course he's all right.
But when he gets back, if he does, I'll tell him what you've been up to. I'll tell him.
Now, what's there to tell? I've entertained my friends and his. I've been the life and soul of the party. It's not my fault that the more he and Mary saw each other, the less they liked what they saw.
That's not the real story, and well, you know it.
Well, tell him what you like. But remember this. He's lost her now, and without me, he'll really be alone. So before you interfere, you'd better stop to consider what the consequences might be. He's here now. I'd keep quiet if I were you.
Hello, George.
Hello, old lad.
Have you got what you wanted?
Yes, put him in the case.
Oh, let me get you something to eat before you go, Dad.
No, don't bother.
Well, you can't go all day on a mouthful of toast.
No, I'll stop on the way.
Olive tells me you're going up to Westmoreland.
Yes.
What are you grinning about?
If you promise to keep Mum, I'll show you something.
What? What? Hey, it's not a gun, is it?
No, a gun. It's not a gun, you daft article. What would I want with a gun?
Well, people have killed themselves for love before now, you know.
Oh, ruddy fools. Here, does this look like a lethal weapon? This carnation?
What's that for?
What do you think? We've taken the plunge. 10:30 this morning, registry office.
You haven't.
Do you take? I do. I will, and so on. The knot's been tied.
Hey, but Olive said
Olive doesn't know.
Well, you might have let me know.
Couldn't risk it, George. It's not that I don't trust you, but you've got a wide-open nature. Look at you now. Get your face under control before Olive sees it.
Where's Mary, then?
Waiting for me at her house. Frank's there. Now, I've come for my case, because Olive's packed for me. Doesn't think I'm capable of putting a pair of socks together. Poor girl. This is going to be a nasty shock for her.
Hey, tell her now. Tell her while I'm here.
Not likely. No, Frank's volunteered to break it to her when Mary and I are safely on our way.
Up the M6?
No, down the M1. We're going to London. Just the 2 of us.
Naturally.
Well, aren't you going to wish me luck?
The best of British, you old fraud. You're a cunning old fraud.
Dad?
Never mind, old lad.
Dad?
Yes, love. Yes, love.
I've been packing.
But I've got all I shall need.
I've been packing my things.
Your things?
Aye, aye.
Your things?
Yes. I'm coming with you. There's nothing to laugh at. We went to Cornwall at Whitsun and had a lovely time.
Yes, but that was different. You can't come with me this time.
Well, why not? There's nothing to keep me here.
Yeah, but the whole purpose of this trip is to... the whole purpose of this trip is for me to be on my own, to sort myself out.
Oh, but, Dad, you'll be miserable on your own. You know very well you'll be bored to tears walking across the fells by yourself.
Especially in your present frame of mind.
You keep out of this.
Sitting at an hotel table for one, brooding.
Oh, I'll go and close the windows upstairs.
Hello.
Oh, it's Frank. Frank?
What does he want?
Oh, good morning, all. Was there room for a little one? How are you this morning, Olive? Hey, you get prettier every day.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm going to pack.
Why? Where are you off to?
For a weekend in the country. With my father.
Oh, yes. Does he know?
Of course he does. Let me pass, please.
What shall I do with her? She's like a leech. Now, why are you here now? I thought you were both to wait for me. That was the arrangement.
Oh, yes, Mary lost patience with your arrangements after we cracked the second bottle. She's outside my car, thirsting for blood.
Thirsting for what?
She wants to have it out with Olive.
Oh, take cover.
Well, look, I persuaded her to wait till I came in to warn you. Well, actually, what I've done is I put the safety belt on her and she can't undo it. Sweet woman, but mechanically ungifted.
I'll undo it. I'll put her in my car and we'll scarp her.
Windy.
What was that?
I wouldn't let a daughter of mine intimidate me.
You didn't have a daughter like mine. And I don't want a lot of unpleasantness today, of all days.
Look, I don't blame you. Off you go. It's a long drive.
George, would you have Olive over at your house this evening?
I will look after Olive.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid of.
Look, I promise not to do anything she doesn't want me to do. And that probably gives me more scope than you could possibly imagine.
Now, look here, Frank.
You know I intend to marry her. Now, how I land her is my business. I might have to use surprise tactics.
You should give him a medal.
Now, let's get one thing absolutely clear.
Do you want me to take her on or don't you? Look, it's no good playing the heavy father at this late stage. If you're so concerned, take her with you.
Mary.
Hey, that's Mary.
I forgot she was out
you
there.
forgot the bride. Hey, that's a good start, isn't it? Women don't like to be overlooked. It's not on their wedding day.
Oh, where's my case? Goodbye.
Oh, hey, what about
Goodbye.
your coat? Oh, the man's falling apart.
Thanks. Oh, how you drive?
Where's Dad?
He's gone.
Oh, only to the garage. He always has the tyres and battery checked before we leave.
All right, well, I'm off now. I'm going to the King's Arms for lunch. I can't look another egg custard in the face. No, don't bother me out.
I thought you weren't coming anymore.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I thrive on it. Well, besides, somebody has to keep an eye on you while your dad's away.
Did you know he was going?
Well, of course. I'm known for a day or two.
That's nice. I wasn't informed till this morning.
Well, you're only his daughter. I'm his best friend.
Since when?
Oh, since I supported him in his hour of need. What did you want to tag along for? Have you got a guilty conscience?
No.
Yes. You're afraid of what you've done to him.
Oh, it's a waste of time talking to you. You always draw your own conclusions.
Don't kiss me in front of the window, darling. Somebody might see us.
I wasn't going to.
Oh, I thought I detected a gleam of pure lust in your eye.
You were mistaken, and I've never heard of pure lust.
Oh, it's composed of 3 parts desire to 1 part affection. The affection is the purifying agent. Here. Have a piece of cake. Well, take it.
What is it?
It's wedding cake. Look, I'm sorry I couldn't bring you any champagne, but I couldn't put that in my pocket. Now, if you don't want to eat it, put it under your pillow and dream of me.
Have you been to a wedding?
Nothing elaborate, a quiet ceremony, a few friends, neighbours, just enough to toast the happy pair.
When was this?
This morning.
Where?
At 14 Jubilee Terrace. The bride looked delightful in blue and pink. The groom was jumpy this morning. Did you notice?
Dad?
Who but?
He was lying to me.
Family failing.
He said he was going away to think.
Oh, a feeble story. No, as a fabricator, he's not in your class. You're in a class of your own.
Sloping off with that barmaid.
Oh, that's no way to speak of my future mother-in-law.
Pretending to be heartbroken.
Imagine.
After all I've done.
Oh, you have been to incredible lengths. You even told him we'd had a tussle. Oh, you don't go in for little fibs, do you? No, great colourful tales. Poor orphan Annie, attacked by the 8th man.
Oh, fat lot he cared.
Oh, he did. He was deeply concerned.
Was he? What did he say?
He said, what was it? Good for you, my boy, and not before time.
He didn't.
Oh, you don't know. You weren't there.
Did you help to arrange this elopement?
I can claim to have oiled the wheel.
Why didn't you keep out of it?
Because they're so right for each other. He needs her warmth. She needs his protection.
But what about me?
You? Oh, yes, you. You're a problem. You've always been a problem.
I wasn't a problem before she came. There were no problems.
Well, there was no nothing, just stagnation. And I suppose this is the end of what might have been the beginning of us, too.
I'm afraid so.
Is there no spark which could be fanned into a flame?
Oh, don't talk rot.
Nothing left. Nothing but the ashes of a burnt-out fire.
There never was a fire. Honestly.
Honestly? Well, that sounds odd coming from you.
You irritated me from the beginning. A complete stranger, leaning back with your legs crossed as if you owned the place, taking it for granted that I wouldn't be able to resist you. You still take it for granted. I thought you were awful, and when I showed as much, you put it down to shyness. Oh, I wanted to scream.
So you are shy. Or if you want a long
I
word,
shall get it, whether or not.
inhibited. But you can't hide behind Daddy anymore.
Oh, we've been driving around arguing. She won.
I thought you'd gone.
Where is she? Oh, there you are. Have you told her, Frank? Has he told you? We were wed this morning, me and your dad. Now, what do you say to that? There. That's taken the wind out of her sails. You've got nothing to say. Oh, she's never liked me. You've never liked me, you know. You think I'm common. Well, common I may be, but at least I'm straight.
That's enough now, love. Let it rest.
You get your hands off me. I'm disgusted with you, Howard Ashton. You're another sly one like her. You're the block that she's been chipped off on. You and your arrangements, creeping out and getting married on the QT as if we were criminals. Don't let Olive guess. Must let Olive find out. Olive will play steam. What I want to know is, who the hell does she think she is? And when are you going to remember who you are? And whose house is this? Whose house is it?
It's mine.
Well, I was beginning to wonder. You crawl in and out of it apologetically like a worm with no blinking backbone.
I'd always heard that people behaved differently after they were married, but I had no idea that it happened so suddenly. I wish you joy of her, Father.
Are you going to stand there and let her insult me?
She hasn't insulted me. She wished me joy.
It's the way she said it.
So what did you want to start for? You knew it was asking for trouble.
Yeah, she's trying to get between us again. I was only speaking my mind, and that's healthy.
It's not so healthy when you're on the receiving end. Oh, I could have spared you all this, Dad.
Oh, yes. You'd have spared me. You, of all people. You've had it in for me ever since your mother died. But I've tried to do my best by it.
And I've looked after you all these years, only to be pushed aside by a fat blonde with a voice like a factory hooter.
That's no way to talk to Mary.
That's no way to talk about anybody.
You mind your own business.
You want your bottom smacked.
Right, she does.
Do you mind? This is between my father and me.
You'll do her the world of good.
There is such a thing as...
Lady Muck.
There is such a thing as loyalty. Men forget that when it comes to sex. They forget about loyalty and lose all the sense they were born with. And for what? You know what? At your age, too. It's not suitable.
I'll decide what's suitable for me and what isn't. And when it comes to loyalty, don't you owe me any. You came into the world with nothing but my name, and I've fed you and clothed you, and you've wanted for nothing. I even paid thick to send you to that ruddy school so that you talk as if your back teeth were stuck together with toffee. Yes, you've kept house, but you've had the run of the house, and that's what you wanted. Now, if you think I owe you 10 years' wages, take a look at your bank account. I reckon you've been paid with interest. The point is, a housekeeper can be dismissed. You can give her a month's notice, a good reference, and a travelling clock, and that's that. Well, I shall have to give you notice. I didn't want it to come to this, but if you can't treat Mary with respect, I'm not going to have her life made miserable by you. Now, we'll be back sometime next week. I'll let you know, and we'll be coming back to this house, and I don't expect to find you here. We were willing to, coexist, but what you do now is your own affair. Marry Frank.
Marry Frank. Marry anybody. I could marry the dustman for all you care.
The dustman wouldn't have you.
Wouldn't he? Well, you should know.
Oh!
Oh, don't cry, love. Don't cry. You've upset her.
I've upset her. I like that. She burst in here with her feathers flying, looking for a fight. Oh, for heaven's sake, take her away.
Come on, Mary. It's getting late.
Mrs. Ashton, the sun's come out. The sun's shining for you.
My husband and I will be at home on Sundays and alternate Saturdays. We hope you'll come and see us. You'll both be very welcome.
Now, what are you hanging about for?
You don't need anybody, do you? You're entirely self-sufficient and a natural homemaker. You've made your own little nest, and if it gets too quiet, you can buy yourself a budgie. Teach him to talk. Bobby, want a biscuit? Say, Auntie Olive, 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 what a biggie.
Stop it.
Shall I go? Do you want me to go? You know, I've discovered something. Champagne in the morning has a marked effect. When we're married, we'll drink it at breakfast and to hell with the expense. I want you. I want to kiss you and I want to hold you. Why don't you swallow your pride? I did. It didn't choke me.
Mine's greater than yours.
Olive.
Oh, Frank.
In this week's edition of Radio Theatre, we present Dead on Time, written by Miles McMahon. It stars Dennis Smith, Marjorie Gordon, Michael Mayer, Diane Appleby, and Bruce Anderson. It was adapted and produced for radio by Michael Silver, and originally broadcast on Springbok Radio in 1971.
Heavy snow has fallen in all areas, especially north of the border. And that's the end of the 3:30 news summary. We return you now to the programme of carols to which you've been listening.
Merry Christmas. Carols. Oh, can't stand them. Too damn dreary.
Lydia. What on earth are you doing here?
Well, I've come to spend Christmas, darling. Do you mind?
Mind?
London's so dreary, so I said to myself, why not spend Christmas with the old man? Happy New Year.
You're drunk.
What observation. Drunk indeed, my lord and master. Have one?
You've had enough for two. Look, what do you want?
To spend the festive season with my he-man of a husband.
I think you'd better go.
Go? My dear child, try to understand. This is my home. Remember? You designed it for me. The great architect Simon Holt designed the superb example of modern architecture and gave it to his own dear little Lydia on their wedding day.
I never did like the place. You made that abundantly clear in the past. So may I ask why you choose to come here?
I'm spending Christmas with you, darling.
It so happens that I've invited Uncle Chris and Aunt Amelia to do exactly the same thing.
My, it's going to be cozy, all of us here together. Who else is coming?
What do you mean?
Don't hedge with me, darling. I know you too well. I don't suppose my little sister Lois would be trotting along to spend the festive season with you, would she?
Leave Lois out of this.
I see, I'm right. Another drink? Yes, I don't mind if I do.
There's no reason why she shouldn't come, is there?
Oh, none in the least. Well, where would you like her to bed down? Close to you, darling?
I've told you before not to judge other people's moral standards by the ones you use.
Oh, how high-minded we are.
Pity you couldn't have been more like Lois. Then our marriage mightn't have been on the rocks.
Does she know why it's on the rocks? I see she doesn't. What yarn have you been spinning her about me? Oh, don't tell me. Let me guess. Lydia should never have married. She can't settle down. She's too fond of the bright lights. She likes a gay time and men.
Well, that at least would be no more than the truth.
Ah, but not quite the whole truth. Perhaps I ought to tell her my side of it, just to even matters up. After all, you wouldn't want her to know the reason we parted.
That's enough.
That my husband wasn't capable. Oh, always the perfect gentleman, aren't you, Simon? You know, That's what attracted me to you in the first place. Did I ever tell you that? I was lonely and romantic, and then I met you. At last, I thought, what I've always wanted. A perfect gentleman, famous, intelligent, charming, in a quiet way. Just the man for me. Man. You fooled me all right.
I warned
you.
you.
Don't threaten me, darling. What would you ever say?
I told you to keep your filthy tongue away from her.
She is my sister, you know. Have you forgotten?
Oh, I wish I could. So does she. Lydia, don't push me too far.
You're a milksop. A spineless, weak-kneed milksop. That's no good. I'm staying. So you'll just have to put up with me.
Oh, Lydia, haven't we had about enough of this?
Are you going to start preaching to me about my drinking again?
We've been married for 5 years, and it hasn't worked out, has it? What I'm saying is, it seems to me it's time we called a halt.
What are you suggesting? A divorce?
Listen to me. I don't want to talk about myself, but this is one time I have to. You were right about Lois. I love her. I want to make her my wife.
Oh, how romantic.
Oh, look, surely we can come to some arrangement.
What a stupid, sentimental fool you are. You've made your bed, and you're going to damn well lie on it with me, your wife.
I see. In that case, I shall have to divorce you.
I shouldn't be too hasty with that idea if I were you. It might seem rather callous in circumstances. You see, I'm going to have a baby. You're going to be a father, darling. Congratulations. Well, what are you going to do about it?
Do about it?
Oh, don't damn well keep repeating everything I say like a half-wit. I've always wanted a child, and that's something you haven't been able to provide. Well, now we've got one, whether you like it or not. And you're going to keep it because it's yours.
Mine?
Yeah, legally, anyway. Take your choice, darling. It's that or goodbye to your little Inamorata or Lois.
You...
Oh! Yeah. You're well matched, the pair of you. Shut up. She's a chartered. You're only half a man. Let me go. You fool. What are you doing with that cushion? Put it. No, Simon. No, Simon.
Shut up.
Oh.
Lydia, answer me. Stop bullying. Get up. Lydia, answer me. Answer me. No. What have I done? What have I done? What?
Anybody's home? Simon? Hello?
Don't come in. Don't come any closer.
What is it?
Stay where you are.
Simon, this is me, Lois.
Get out of here. Go away, please, now.
What's wrong?
Please do as I say. Go away.
Oh, no. It's Lydia.
It's a bit of luck meeting you, Mr. Monders. Otherwise, we'd have had to put it all away. It's at least 2 miles from the station.
Well, the pleasure's all mine.
Where's Simon got to, I wonder? He was supposed to be at the station to meet us.
Certainly our good fortune to be picked up by this young man in his car.
No, it was nothing. I couldn't very well have let you struggle through the snow on your own.
Funny we should all have been coming to the same place. Simon didn't tell me he'd invited anyone else.
Simon?
Yes, Simon Holt is my nephew. He's your host, eh?
There seems to be a bit of a mix-up somewhere. I was invited by Lydia.
You say that Lydia invited you? May I ask, was it a sudden invitation?
You could call it that. We were having lunch together, and she said, how about driving up to Scotland and spending Christmas there? I must admit, I jumped at the chance of spending a few days out of London.
And you work there?
Freelance for a paper syndicate in Canada. Oh. I've been based in London for the past year.
Oh, you must lead an exciting life.
I wouldn't say that, Mrs. Holt.
Miss. I'm afraid I've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride.
All right, I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm the one you should be sorry for.
My brother means that he's had to suffer instead of my husband. I've kept house for him all over the world while he's been busy sawing poor defenseless people in half.
Are you a magician, sir?
The magic is that any of his patients ever lived to tell the tale.
Oh, I get it. You're a doctor.
To be exact, a surgeon. Retired now.
When he retired, the mortality rate dropped several points.
Oh, thank you.
You married, Mr. Manders?
Happily, thank you, Miss Holt.
Children?
A boy and a girl. I don't see much of them, of course, but,
nice.
well, that's the nature of my profession.
They're in Canada.
My wife doesn't like chopping and changing. Prefers to stay put.
It must make things difficult occasionally, shouldn't it?
Well, it does, but we get along all right so far.
That's good.
Oh, you've arrived.
Oh, Simon, at last. Where have you been? We expected you to be at the station.
Oh, did you? I thought you were coming by car.
I said quite clearly on the phone that we'd be arriving by train.
Oh, sorry, Aunt Amelia. Must have slipped my mind.
This young man has very kindly offered to give us a lift. Oh. He turned out to be coming here himself. Apparently Lydia invited him.
Lydia?
You don't know?
Look, I guess I must apologize for barging in like this. I'll be on my way.
No, don't go.
No, of course not. I'm sorry.
Stuart Manders.
How do you do? Look, make yourself comfortable, Mr. Manders. Won't you have a drink?
Oh, thanks. Scotch, please.
Oh, fine. Amelia, Uncle Chris?
Sherry for me, please. Whiskey for your uncle.
Yes, I'll have a whiskey.
Now, what time is Lois coming?
Lois? She should have been on your train.
Well, if she was, we missed her.
May I ask who Lois is?
Funny you should know Lydia and not know that Lois is Lydia's sister. Oh, well, half-sister, really. Her mother married twice.
Lydia never mentioned she had a sister.
I'm surprised she mentioned she had a husband. Simon, where do we sleep?
Well, you and Uncle Chris can have your usual rooms on the right of the corridor, of course. Mr. Manders can have the long room opposite.
What about Lois and Lydia?
Lois can have my room.
And Lydia, no doubt, will make her own sleeping arrangements when she gets here. Come along, Mr. Manders. I'll show you the way. Right. Come along, Chris.
Yes, right.
I don't know if I should. Look, I really think I'd best go.
No, nonsense. No, nowhere for you to go. No, if Lydia doesn't turn up, then you must remain as my guest.
Okay, have it your way.
Couldn't wait. I used my key. They've arrived?
Including a Mr. Manders. He's a friend of Lydia's. Apparently she invited him. They've gone to brush up. Look, we haven't much time, so quickly now.
I need a drink.
All right, I'll get it. No, you sit down. Tell me.
Well, the old taxi driver didn't suspect anything. He picked me up after you shouted, "Goodbye, Lydia," and he drove off.
Here's your drink. Did he talk to you?
Over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
That was a short visit, Mrs. Holt. I thought you were stopping for Christmas. I just pretended to be very drunk and muttered, "No."
Good.
Then I sank back into the corner seat, and we drove the rest of the way to the station in silence. It was awful, just sitting there in the dark, all dressed up in Lydia's outdoor things.
What happened at the station?
He shouted, "You'll have to hurry if you're going to catch the London train, missus." I didn't answer. I just grabbed my case and got out.
Thank heavens I paid him beforehand.
I went straight onto the platform.
Mm-hmm.
The train was already in. I barely caught it. When we got to the next station up the line, I got out, like we'd arranged, went straight to the ladies' room and changed into my own clothes. I put Lydia's things back in her bag, and then I waited.
Right.
I heard the train pull out. Then, after what seemed ages, I heard the train pull in on the far platform. I came out, crossed over the bridge, and arrived back at the station here.
Which train was it?
The same one your uncle and aunt were on.
They didn't see it?
No, I made sure of that. Oh, Simon, I hope it works. What about Manders?
Manders? He gave Uncle Chris and Amelia a lift. I had to ask him to stay. I mean, if I'd insisted on his going, he might have been suspicious later on when they find her.
What about her?
Well, that station you got out at, it's only 5 miles up the line. She'll be found in a snowdrift, dead from exposure. They'll think she got out of the train in a drunken stupor, wandered in a daze, and then fell down. What marks there are should support that. Well, that's all they can prove.
What have you done with her?
I had to find a place quickly, a place that wouldn't be stumbled on and where I could get at her when the time came. I couldn't bury her or hide her in the house, so I...
Oh, Lois. So you finally arrived. Did you have a nice journey down?
Hello, Amelia. Uncle Chris?
Oh, you look tired. You've been overdoing it, I suppose.
I presume your daily has taken itself off, Simon.
Yes, we can manage, can't we?
Heavens, yes. Poor woman, she's entitled to her rest, same as anyone else. Well, Amelia Bolt, hey-ho for the kitchen.
I'll come and help.
No need, my dear. You'll be tired after your journey.
Simon, where am I sleeping? I'll just unpack my things.
Take my room, and I'll move my things into the study.
I won't be long.
Aunt Amelia, would you like me to come and show you where things are?
Stay where you are and entertain your uncle.
Right.
I'll forage about for myself.
I don't know what I've done without her all these years, you know.
Oh.
Here comes Mr. Manders. You look jolly cold. Have you been out of the snow?
No, not me.
Could do with a drink, though.
Everything okay? Whiskey?
Yeah, it couldn't be better. Was that Lydia who arrived?
Lydia? No, as a matter of fact, it was Lois.
Oh, thanks. Well, I've made up my mind. I'm staying, that is, with your consent, Mr. Holmes.
No, call me Simon. No, you're welcome. Yes. Sit down, won't you?
Thanks. Oh, I sat on something. Hello, what's this? It's a compact.
Compact?
Yeah, initialed on the lid. Looks like an L. Now, how about that, then? That's Lydia's initial. Come to think of it, I'm sure I've seen her with a compact just like this one.
She probably left it here some time ago.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
No, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, the more I look at this, the more sure I am that I've seen her with it in the last week or so.
I'm sure it's Lydia's compact.
Yeah.
What's that?
Mr. Mounders has found a compact, Lois. He thinks it's Lydia's.
May I see? Oh, thank you, Mr. Manders. It must have dropped out of my handbag when I was talking to Simon earlier.
It's yours?
Yes, of course. Look at the initial. L for Lois.
So much for your powers of observation, Mr. Manders.
I could have sworn. Still, never contradict the lady I always say.
I know you're all starving. You just have to be patient, that's all. I could do with a drink, Chris. What's the weather doing, eh? Still snowing? Just draw the curtains and make it more cozy. What? Well, there's someone out there.
What?
There couldn't be. I tell you there is, just standing there.
Yeah, let me have a look.
No, wait. It may be a prowler.
Manders? Where did you get that gun?
Never move without it. Now stand clear. I'm going to draw the curtains. Here goes. There's nothing there.
Nothing? Are you sure?
Me, my dear. What you saw was your own image reflected in the glass.
You think so? Well, it didn't seem like that somehow.
What did it seem like?
I don't quite know. A woman, I think. It was a young woman, I'm sure it was.
Oh, nonsense.
Louis, what on earth? She's going to faint.
Louis.
Oh, dear. It must have been the shock.
Yes, that was it.
Yes. It must have been the shock.
Like a fine cigar to round off a good meal. I must compliment you, Amelia. That turkey was quite out of this world.
That's the way I feel right now. I think I'll have a short rest before tea.
You deserve a break. Today you really excelled yourself.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I'm glad Lois offered to do the washing up. She's a sweet girl.
Yeah, she makes some man a good wife.
Yes. Where's Simon, by the way?
He's in the study. He's not his usual self. He seems out of sorts. Don't you think so?
Yes, I've noticed. But so would you if you had Lydia for a wife. And Lydia's boyfriend as a guest.
You've got a point. What the places?
That sounded like a gun.
Yes, it was.
What was that?
I heard a shot. Sounded as if it came from in here.
No, it's in the garden. Maybe it's a poacher after rabbits or
On
something.
Christmas Day? No. Besides, it wasn't a rifle shot. It sounded more like a... Look! In the garden.
Good heavens. It's Manders. Now, what the devil's he...
He's firing it.
Looks as if he's set up a target on that snowdrift over there.
What?
The snowdrift.
What's got into Simon?
Nothing. It's just that he has a thing about guns.
Oh, well, he's no need to worry. I'm sure the boy's a good shot.
Look at Simon. He's simply furious.
Good heavens. I never thought a small thing like that would have upset him so much.
Well, I'm not waiting to hear the rights and wrongs of it. I'm going to snatch 40 winks before tea time.
I'll make the tea if you like.
Oh, thank you. Will you? You are a sweetie.
They're coming in, huh? Simon looks like thunder.
Stuart might have hit someone.
I think he can count himself lucky that Simon didn't hit him.
Isn't the Canadian backwards, you know?
Sure, I know. I should have realized. Well, I guess I didn't. I just felt like blasting away at something, so I did.
Well, next time I'd advise you to be more careful before you start blasting away, as you call it. One of those bullets might have hit someone.
I'm a good shot. I was aiming at the snowdrift. It's clear of the house.
And you hit it, too.
Oh, let's drop the subject, shall we?
Okay, let's do that. Anybody lost this? I found it in the snow a while back.
What is it?
It's a St. Christopher medal, I think. Keep travelers safe, you know.
Not me. You, Simon?
No, it's not mine. It must belong to one of the children from the village.
May I see?
You recognize it, sir?
What's that? No. Yeah, you better keep it.
Yeah, I guess I will. Might keep me from coming to a bad end.
Well, it might at that. Well, I think I'll stretch my legs. You care to accompany me?
What are we waiting for?
Well, I'll get my coat. I'll see you folks later on. Yeah.
Interfering baboon. Poking about here, there, everywhere.
Simon, don't. He didn't mean anything by it.
Didn't he? That's where you're wrong. He's onto something.
Oh, you're imagining things. He couldn't possibly know anything.
No, he doesn't. Not yet. But he senses something's wrong. It's in his whole attitude. We've got to get rid of him. We've got to get him out of here.
But how? You can't just tell him to get out like that.
Listen, if Lydia phoned him, that'd do the trick.
Yes, but Simon, she can't.
No, she can't, but you could. Lois, darling, you've got to do it.
Oh, no, not again. That would be too horrible. I couldn't. Besides, he'd be sure to see through it.
No, he wouldn't. No. Your voices are nearly alike, or look, they would be on the phone. Lois, please, it's the only way. Darling, I should never have dragged you into this. But now you're in, you must cooperate if we're ever going to get out of it. It's not only me now. It's us. Darling, you know I wouldn't ask you except that I love you.
Yes, I know. Tell me what I have to do.
Wait. Can you see them?
Yes. They're just outside, walking in the garden. What are you going to...
Hello? I wonder if you'd mind giving me an alarm call in about, say, 10 minutes. I want to get rid of some people. You know how it is. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
But what are you going to...
Look, what we've got to do is this. When they pass the window, call them in for tea. I'll remain here on the couch in easy reach of the phone. Then when it rings, I'll answer it.
What am I to do?
Stay in this room until the phone rings. There must be no suspicion of trickery in Mando's mind. When it rings, say that you'll make the tea, slip into the kitchen and through the connecting door to the study. In the study, you'll find an extension to this phone.
Won't it ring also?
No, it's got a bulb that flashes instead of ringing. Now, when the light goes out, you'll know that I've answered this phone. Now, listen very carefully. Pick up the extension. Don't say anything, just listen. I'll deal with the operator. Then I'll tell Stuart it's Lydia for him. Now, when he comes on the line, you'll talk to him. Pretend to be Lydia. Drunk, very drunk. Ask him to pick you up at the station. Say you've been stranded all night.
The station? But why there?
Well, don't you see? When they find her, he'll think she meant the next station up the line and that he made a mistake. While he's away, it'll give me the time I need to get her out of the snowdrift. As soon as you've told him to meet you at the station, cut yourself off before he has a chance to ask any questions. Come back here as fast as you can with the teacups. Have you got it?
Yes. They're coming in.
Right, all set.
Stop with that, but anyway, skiing is a national pastime back home, sir. Oh, yep, everyone goes in for it, old and young.
Yes, sir, I gather. Oh, hello, you two. I say
hello.
it's freezing out there.
Enjoy your walk?
Not half as much as I'm going to enjoy my rest.
I better call the office, find out if they want me for anything. You, mind if I use your phone, Simon?
No, not at all.
I thought you were supposed to be on holidays, Stu. Why not let them phone you?
True enough. Besides, they know where I am if they need me.
I'll put the kettle on in a moment and make some tea.
Yes, I'll take a cup into Amelia when it's ready.
You know, what gets me is why Lydia never phoned. She knew I was coming here. The least she might have done was to call me to say she changed her mind. If she had changed her mind.
Had changed her mind?
I'd like her to leave me out on a limb like this. Thoughtless she may be, but she's never done a thing like this before.
Perhaps you don't know her quite as well as you imagine.
Oh, I know she's your wife and all that, and I dare say you know her inside out. Still, I just can't help feeling she'd have called me to let me know where she was by now.
Better answer it, I suppose. It might be Lydia.
I'll make the tea.
Hello. Yes, this is 27543. Oh, thank you, yes. Yes, I will. It's Lydia. They're putting her through. Yes, Simon speaking. Hello, Lydia. What kept you? What? Speak up. I can hardly make out what you're saying. Yes, he's here, yes. Arrived last night. I'll put him on, shall I? She says she tried to ring before. She hasn't been able to get through. Look, I warn you, she's very drunk. I can hardly make out what she's saying.
Hello? That really you, Lydia? Who'd I think it was? I certainly didn't expect this. I mean, where are you calling from? Yes, I do want to know. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask you, would I? Huh? What? What? Hello?
Been cut off.
Yeah, damn it. Hello?
Well, where is she?
Wouldn't I like to know? We got cut off before I had the chance to find out. How do you like that? Now we're just as far off knowing anything as before.
Look, it didn't sound like a long-distance call to me. I wonder if she might have been ringing from the station. Did she say anything about wanting to be picked up?
No, not a word. You think she might be?
Well, it's worth a try, I should say. Up to you.
Well, perhaps I will slip down there and see.
Tea, let me help you, Lois. I'll put the milk in, shall I? Now, look out, my dear. You're spilling it. Here, let me have the teapot. Your hand is shaking. It's too heavy for you.
No, it's just that...
Not anything wrong? You look all hot and bothered.
I'm all right. I scalded myself, that's all.
Well, let me see. These minor burns can be painful.
No, it's all right, Uncle Chris.
I only wanted...
I tell you, it's all right.
Tea, Simon?
Yes, thanks. 2 sugars, please.
Manders, how many?
Oh, thanks. No sugar. I'm a diabetic. I think I'll do as you suggested, Slyman. Slip down to the station and see if she's there.
What's the rush? Drink your tea first and relax. She'll wait.
I wonder... Now, look, if you'll excuse me, I'll go and put some other clothes on. I wish I could make out what... never mind. I'll see you later.
There goes an undecided man. You know, I think I'll wake Amelia and give her this cup of tea while it's still warm. Excuse me.
You were splendid.
Don't rub it in. I know I made a hash of it.
Doesn't matter. He's going to the station to pick her up. It's our chance.
Going to the station?
Yeah, I suggested it to him. I know you didn't get round to mentioning the station, but it didn't matter because I did. He believed it implicitly.
Believed what?
The phone call.
I never made that call.
You what? What are you saying? You did?
I tell you, I didn't. I couldn't because the study door was locked. At first I thought it was stuck, but it wasn't. I waited. There was nothing I could do, so I finally came back in here.
But Manda spoke to you. If it wasn't you, then who was it?
It must have been Lydia.
No, it's impossible. She couldn't possibly have recovered. I know.
How do you know? Why are you so sure?
Because she didn't die from a blow on the head.
But you tell me that...
what I told you. It wasn't true, that's all. She didn't die from any accidental blow. I killed her. Deliberately killed her. I don't know what's got into me. I told myself I went mad, that's all. She taunted me about not being a man. And she told me she wasn't going to divorce me, and she informed me that I would have to accept the child she was having as my own. I think that's what did it. I picked up a cushion and I smothered her. Then you came in and I couldn't tell you what I'd done, so I pretended it was an accident. Now you know everything.
Coming in directly.
Oh, good.
Since Manders is taking himself off to the station, I thought we might perhaps make up a Fordham Bridge, huh?
I'm not in the mood right now.
Oh.
Well, I feel a lot better now after that little nap. Is there any more tea left? I could do with another cup.
Well, I think so.
I woke up once or twice. Have you ever had the experience of being on the fringe of sleep, Lois, and you see something or hear something? It's like an echo of real life, distorted a little or out of perspective, but there it is, and you don't know whether you dreamt it or whether you actually saw it.
All right, dear. Now a cup of tea.
Thank you. Well, I felt like that this afternoon.
How do you mean?
I don't know what time it was, but I woke up, or rather I think I woke up, and there, passing by outside my window, I saw you.
Me?
Well, I thought it was you. It looked like you. You passed by my window and you went on round the house. I remember thinking hastily, now, what is Lois doing out in the snow? She'll catch her death of cold.
But I've been here all the time.
I dare say. They always say that dreams go contrariwise. So I suppose that's it. But I could have sworn it was you. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, isn't it? I still don't know whether I dreamed it or not. But, of course, if you say it wasn't you, then I must have dreamed it, I suppose. Oh, hello, Stuart. I hear that Lydia phoned you.
Yeah, she did. I only think she never said where she was calling from.
No.
Simon thinks it might be the station, so I'm going down to see if she's there.
Mm.
If she is there, I'll give you a call to let you know.
Oh, thank you.
I hope the car starts.
If it doesn't, you can borrow mine.
Thanks.
I think I'll nip down to the village for some cigarettes before it's too late.
Will they be open?
Oh, heavens, yes. If not the front door, then the back.
You should have asked Stuart. No point in two of you going herring round the countryside.
He's gone to the station. It's a different direction. Quite out of his way.
Be sure to wrap up warmly, Simon.
Yes, I will.
Now, what about a hand of cards, anybody? What do you say, Lois?
Love to, Uncle Chris.
Well, there's only 3 of us there.
Oh, 2, aren't you? I'm going to clear these tea things away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me help you.
No, my dear, I can manage.
Now then, let's split the pack, shall we? Save shuffling. Then like a game of cards for taking your mind off your troubles. Now, here we are. 3 on a king, my dear. You're not paying attention.
Sorry.
That's yours, Lois. They're yours. Pick them up.
Oh, yes.
Well, lead.
Your lead, isn't it?
No, it's yours. You won.
Oh, yes. I didn't hear the car.
What's that?
I didn't hear Simon start the car.
Oh, the engine's cold, I dare say.
Oh, perhaps I'd better just go and see if he needs a hand.
I can see your mind's not on the game. Off you go, then. I think I'll just go and give Amelia a hand with the tea things.
Simon, what is it? Wouldn't the car start?
I don't know. I didn't try it.
Why not, Simon? Simon, why not?
Because it wasn't necessary. You see, Lydia wasn't there.
Wasn't there?
I went outside, and after making sure that no one was looking, I dug into the snowdrift. There's nothing more to tell. Lydia wasn't there, that's all.
And it's true. I was right all the time. She's alive.
Either that or someone moved the body. Why? Why should they do that?
No one did. She's alive, as I said. You didn't kill her, Simon. Oh, Simon, you didn't kill her.
We can't be sure of that, can we? I mean, we may be wrong about her still being alive, might we?
The phone call. It was her voice. Simon, that's proof enough. She made that call. It must have been coincidence that she got through just then. Oh, Simon, I'm so happy. You didn't kill her. You only thought you did.
If it wasn't you on the... then... Alas, what a relief. I can't get the idea through my head. She's not dead. I'm not guilty. As if the whole world had been on my shoulders and someone had suddenly come along and lifted it without warning. I feel light as a feather.
Me too. Oh, Simon, I'm happy. Happier than I've been in the whole of my life.
It's wonderful.
Wonderful.
To be alive. Oh, my darling.
You had said he'd ring.
Yes, so he did. I'd better answer it, I suppose. Hello. Yes, speaking.
Darling, let's go right away from here. Let's go to Italy. Say you will.
Yes, yes. Yes, I'll come down right away.
Simon, what's the matter? What is it?
It's Lydia. They found her. She's dead.
The body of Lydia Appleby, famous West End actress, was found here today on the little railway line that runs Cadivert to Kirkbride. It was discovered lying half on and half off the track by a railway official inspecting the section for possible blockage of the line by snow. It is presumed she met her death through being struck by a train. I'll get started on that article immediately. What? Oh, something like I Knew Lydia Appleby by Stuart Manders. Yeah. Anything new comes in, I'll call you. Bye.
Trifle careless, aren't you?
No, merely professional. A story's a story, and if I don't get my name on it, somebody else will.
Seems a pretty odd way to repay Simon's hospitality by smearing his name all over the papers.
Oh, sure, I feel guilty about it, but what am I to do? I need the money. You know, Lois, things haven't been as good as they might be for me lately. That's the reason why I've got to make the most of this. Just might put me back on the beam again.
Simon? Oh, it's you, Uncle Chris. Where's Simon? Didn't he come back with you?
Well, no. No, he'll follow later.
But how can he? He'll have to walk, won't he? You've used the car.
I wouldn't worry about that. They'll be bound to give him a lift when they're through.
They? What do you mean?
The police.
You mean they suspect Simon might have... But it was an accident, wasn't it? Oh, Uncle Chris, if you know anything, please don't keep it from me. Do you understand? I've got to know the worst.
They think Simon killed his wife. Of course, it's a lot of nonsense, but that's what they believe.
Is Simon's position very serious?
As you ask me, it's very serious indeed. Why did he conceal the fact that Lydia had been here last night?
What? Was she?
You knew, didn't you?
Didn't
you?
Yes. Yes, I knew. That must be Simon now. Look, Uncle Chris, I'd very much like to talk to him alone if you wouldn't mind.
Not in the least. I'll bring Amelia up to date on how things stand, shall I?
Yes, do please. It won't help to keep her in the dark.
If either Simon or you has anything to say to me later on, I'd like you to know it'll be regarded as private and confidential.
I don't think so, but thank you, Uncle Chris. I'll remember.
Well, it's all over, bar the shouting. They're pretty sure I'm their man.
Oh, Simon. Is it as bad as that? Then why didn't they arrest you?
They will. Give them a little time to verify a few things. They'll have to hold a post-mortem first to ascertain the exact cause of death. And when they know that, they'll come straight to me.
But why you? You didn't put her on the railway line.
No, but I killed her. There's no getting away from that. Whoever moved the body onto the line may have been trying to do me a good turn, for all I know. Trying to cover up for me. But who would do such a thing? Why? It's senseless.
Could it be that someone wanted to make sure you'd be arrested?
No, I thought of that. Doesn't make any sense either. If whoever moved her wanted me charged, all he'd have to do is ring up the police when he found the body. There has to be another reason.
You think someone might be covering up for you? Why?
It's mad, but what other explanation is there? If she'd been struck by a train, well, who knows? The whole thing might have been passed off as an accident. Doesn't sound as if they wanted to make me look guilty, does it?
You don't suppose Stu Manders could have had a hand in it? Putting her on the track, I mean.
Manders? Why on earth should he?
Perhaps he loved Lydia.
You mean he found her and...
No, that won't do, will it? As you said, if he wanted revenge, all he'd have to do is lift the telephone and ask for the police. Dear, it's a vicious circle, isn't it?
Is this true, Simon? What Chris has just been telling me, that you're in danger of being arrested for Lydia's murder?
Now, that isn't quite what I said, Amelia.
Oh, yes, it's true.
The whole thing is ridiculous. Simon hasn't been anywhere near Lydia for months.
I saw her last night, as a matter of fact, before you came.
What? But you didn't mention a word of this to us.
We had a row. She left, that's all.
Oh, Simon, you've got to tell us what happened last night from the moment that Lydia got here to the time she left.
Is that so very important? After all, she was still alive early this afternoon. Otherwise, she couldn't possibly have phoned Simon.
That phone call wasn't a real one.
Oh?
You see, Simon arranged to be given an alarm call by the operator. He wanted to get rid of Manders. He thought if Lydia phoned him, he'd pack up and go. I was to use the extension in the study, but it didn't work out as we planned. When the time came, I couldn't get into the study. It was locked.
Then who did Stuart speak to?
I don't know.
Lydia, of
I
course.
just don't know.
Who else?
It couldn't have been. Couldn't have been Lydia. If it was a fake, as Lois said...
Well, the lines must have got crossed, that's all.
But it couldn't have been Lydia because she was...
Because she was already dead by then. Is that what you're going to say, Lois?
Tell them, Lois. If you don't, I will.
Simon, no.
I killed her. That's what you want to know, isn't it?
Oh.
Was it an accident?
The police won't call it that. I'm sorry. I seem to have made a first-class mess of everything. My life, marriage.
What are you up to?
I'm going to phone the police and turn myself in.
No, Simon, no, you mustn't do that. We'll find a way out. She was worthless, you know.
She was a human being.
Yes.
It's true she hurt me in many ways, but I had no right to act as I did.
Now, Simon, wait.
Until I'm arrested? Wait until I'm arrested, is that it?
This man is innocent until proven guilty. That is the law's job, you know. Why not let them do it?
Please, Simon, for my sake.
Well, what shall we do till the police come for me? Make up a 4 at bridge?
Well, I'll wash up. I must do something. I just can't sit still doing nothing.
I'll come with you.
Simon, I'm old and not much use, but if I can help in any way... Amelia was right, you know. Lydia was worthless. You are not. Why don't you let us try and work something out, perhaps between us?
No, please. I've done all I'm going to do.
It's last night that's so important, isn't it? We could say that Lydia was here when we arrived, and she left shortly afterwards.
Manders, would he swear to that, too?
Yes, I forgot Manders.
Give a dog a bad name, and everybody's bound to start using it. Did I hear mine mentioned?
If you were listening, you may have. Well, I'll go and see how Lois and Amelia are getting on.
I wasn't, you know.
What's that?
Listening.
Oh, you surprised me.
You acquire a shell of iron in this business. You have to, or you're out. And yet the right kind of publicity can do an awful lot to influence public opinion. Juries start off as ordinary members of the public.
Exactly what are you driving at?
Let's face it, Lydia's dead, and she was hardly the suicidal type. So what does that leave?
Have it all worked out, has he?
Nope. There are a few soggy patches I'd like to see filled in, for my own benefit, purely.
And you think I can help you? Frankly, aren't you overestimating my knowledge of how she comes to be on the railway track?
No, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, that doesn't worry me at all. See, I put her there.
What? Are you serious?
I don't think I'd joke about a thing like that.
But why? Why did you do it? For what
Let's
reason?
say I thought you might be grateful if the whole thing turned out to be, or was written off as, an accident.
I think I'm beginning to understand.
Good. You see, I located her the night we arrived.
But how did
Forgive
you...
my saying so, but the guy who did this wasn't a killer by nature. In fact, he made rather a hash of it. I was a crime reporter on one of the big dailies for a couple of years, and you gain a certain insight into the mind of the criminal type. Murdering anyone is a job for an expert. It takes practice. That's the drawback of being an amateur. You don't gain the necessary experience. Consequently, you make mistakes. Now, this fellow who killed Lydia, he made a couple of errors.
Oh, really? What, for instance?
One was he did the deed on impulse. Not that improvisation isn't all right in its place, but it means you're liable to be pressed for time and to forget things. In this case, a compact. A small thing in itself, but it started me off, and then other things sprang to my attention which I might have ignored.
What was so odd about finding a compact which belonged to and was claimed by its owner?
Oh, yes. Lois claimed it, didn't she? Only trouble about that is, I bought that particular compact a fortnight previously and had Lydia's initial put on it.
What?
Naturally, once my eyes were open, I kept them open, and then what happens? The girl faints for no reason. Now, I ask you, why should an ordinary, perfectly healthy young lady faint when Miss Amelia sees her own face reflected in the glass? It made me think, I can tell you. Then I took a deck hole for myself later on when the lights were out, and what do I find? Guess.
What did you do?
Nothing I could do for her. I went back to bed and left her there. Besides, I wanted time to think. I asked myself, should I turn the guy in? And I answered myself, no, sir. Lydia's dead as a doornail, and let's face it, she may have been a lot of laughs when she was alive, but now who cares?
Obviously you, least of all. Just a moment, though. You found her dead last night? And how do you account for the fact that you spoke with her on the phone this afternoon?
Well, let's say I played along and pretended to. I didn't like to spoil your little plan. There was no one on the other end.
I see. When did you move the body?
You insisted on my going down to the station to meet a non-existent Lydia. So I said to myself, why should he want me to do a thing like that? And then it clicked. I thought, he wants me out of the way so he can dump her somewhere when nobody's looking. And if he does that, he's bound to get in a fix being an amateur. So then I thought, seeing as how I've got to go down to the station anyway, why not take her with me?
Look, let's put our cards on the table, shall we? Just what do you want from me?
Money. Lots of it, and continuously.
For what? The police are on the point of arresting me anyway.
They can't prove a thing, not as long as I'll swear we were here together with Lydia and that she left shortly afterwards. You'd better hurry and make up your mind. The police will be here very shortly.
Uncle Chris, Aunt Amelia, Lois, come in here.
What is it? What's happened?
Tell us.
Manders has something to say. To be brief, he proposes that I should pay him to keep his mouth shut.
Oh.
In return for that, he'll help manufacture an alibi for me. He'll swear that Lydia was here when you all arrived last night and left shortly afterwards. Well, what do you say?
Can we trust him?
Oh, yes. Yes, do it, Simon. Agree.
Is that what you want, all of you?
Of course.
Very well, Manders. You've won.
I thought you'd see it my way. Now, let's see. The time to be covered is last night and this afternoon.
Hello? Yes. Yes, he's here. It's for you, Manders.
Yeah, oh, thanks. Must be the paper. Manders speaking. Hello, who's that? Oh, you, Joe. I didn't recognize your voice. What is it? On the early train? A photographer? Yeah, okay, I'll meet him. No, nothing new as yet. What? Huh? What was she wearing? Hold on, I'll find out. What jewelry had she on when they found her?
Oh, I know.
Well, you saw her body at the police station.
Oh, I can't remember exactly. Earrings, I think. Yes, dangly ones, green jade, and a slave bracelet. Nothing else.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, green jade earrings and a slave bangle is the lot, Joe.
Oh, there was one other piece. She wore a medal round her neck.
That's not important. Look, let's get back to the...
Just 1 second. Wait a minute. What sort of a medal was she wearing about her neck?
St. Christopher? Why?
Oh, how very interesting.
Now that you're happy, can we get on with the
No
business?
hurry, Mr. Manders. You know, an odd thing has just struck me. You're not the blackmailing type. Ever since Simon said that you're willing to shield him for money, it's been niggling me.
How do you know what type I am? Only a fool doesn't like money.
Manders, in this very room, you produced a St. Christopher medal, which you said you'd found in the snow. Where is it now?
In my room. I'll get it.
Exactly where in your room?
How should I know? In one of my pockets, I guess.
Amelia, you see if you can find it.
Yes, but...
Now, please do as I ask. Amandus, where and when did you find Lydia?
In the snowdrift last night, after you'd all turned in.
In the snowdrift, I see. She was dead?
There's a doornail.
So after you found her, you didn't touch her again?
Except to place her on the railway track, no.
And that was?
Late this afternoon.
You and Lydia were good friends, yet you didn't go to the police. Why not?
I couldn't bring her back to life again, could I? And I don't like the police. Never have. Besides, I thought there was a chance of cashing in on it. That's why I hung up.
Amandus, you've given us a reason for your actions, but it doesn't accord with the facts.
What facts?
The fact that early this afternoon you fired bullets into the snowdrift. Yet Lydia, when found, had not been injured in any way.
So what? I probably missed.
Oh, no, you didn't miss. I saw you myself.
What are you getting at?
Wait. Oh, Amelia, did you find it?
It wasn't there.
Oh, you couldn't have looked. Look, I'll find it.
I think you'd better stay where you are.
What is this, some kind of a joke?
No joke. On the contrary, a very serious matter indeed. I accuse you of being the cause of Lydia's death.
You're mad.
Am I? Now listen. 1, no bullet wounds. Therefore you lied when you said you left her in the snowdrift. 2, the medal round her neck, which was in your possession this afternoon, showing you had recent contact with her. And 3, you talked to her on the phone this afternoon.
Yes, but that...
4, Amelia sees Lydia pass her window immediately prior to the phone call, and she mistakes her for Lois.
Yes.
What are you getting at?
Lydia was alive early this afternoon. She probably heard Simon and Lois arrange that phone call and decided to cut in. She went round the outside of the house, past Amelia's window, in by the hall door using her own key, and used the extension as Simon had planned for Lois to do.
It's a lot of nonsense. How can you know that?
Because when you spoke to her on the phone, you were both surprised and annoyed to find her on the line. You reacted violently. You didn't know where she was phoning from. Immediately afterwards, you went to see for yourself where she'd got to.
But where was she hiding?
In his room. Where else? I remember how cold you looked when you returned to this room after unpacking the night you arrived. And I asked you if you'd been out in the snow. You denied it, of course, but you had, hadn't you? I suggest what happened was this. After Simon thought he'd killed Lydia, she recovered. Now, Manders was unpacking in his room at the time, and she saw him, knocked on his window, and after hearing her story, they hatched up a neat little scheme to fray Simon's nerves by way of revenge. But to succeed, they had to make it look as if Lydia was still in the snowdrift. Consequently, Manders had to climb out and remove any signs of her return to life. Lydia gave you her compact and her Christopher medal to use as a ward of nerve she planned on Simon, didn't she? The compact worked all right, but no one reacted to the medal, so you gave it back to her.
And that's how she came to have it round her neck when found. But of course...
It doesn't even make sense. The police suspect Simon, so I protect him by manufacturing an alibi for him. Would I do that if I were guilty? Is it likely?
It's likely enough, Mr. Manders. You weren't providing an alibi for Simon. You were creating one for yourself. The Blackmail Act was only a smokescreen to hide the fact. Once you had us all swearing that we were here together and that Lydia left in a taxi for the station, then you were safe. Because you knew we'd never go back on our story later on, just for Simon's sake. No matter what facts the post-mortem would bring to light regarding the manner of her death. Tell me, Manders, what are you going to find at the post-mortem? What do you think they'll find? What is it that points to you as the culprit? Something that indicates you so clearly that you simply had to make her death look like a train accident?
Well, since you're so bright, you tell me.
Could this have anything to do with it? I found it in his coat pocket.
It's a hypodermic syringe, of course. How very stupid of me. That's it, Amelia. Manders, you're a diabetic. You told us that yourself. You gave Lydia a massive dose of insulin, didn't you? All diabetics take it to counteract the sugar in their blood. Insulin. The one thing that would make the police come directly to you, a diabetic. The only person close to Lydia who had access to it.
Why did you do it, Manders? Why did you kill her?
She told me she was pregnant. Threatened to tell my wife. That would have meant the end of my marriage. Goodbye to the kids. It had to be. I'm not sorry she's dead. She deserved to die.
When exactly did you...
After that phone call, I went back to my room. She was lying on the bed, as usual, all loused up with alcohol. I gave her back the medal and told her I'd had enough after that phone business. We had a flaming row. I told her I was getting out, that we were through. She'd seen the last of me. And she sneered at me. Told me she was pregnant. Threatened to ruin me with a wife. I guess that's what did it. My kids, I couldn't stand to lose them. Anyhow, suddenly she went out like a light. The alcohol and the cold air outside must have ganged up on her. I knew I'd never get another chance like it. I gave her the lot. I guess that's about it. Forget it. I'll find my own way out.
Doesn't seem right, letting him get away like that.
Not so long ago, you're all for me getting away with it.
Well, that was entirely different. You're not the criminal type.
No? No wonder.
Chris, shouldn't we try to stop him? He's getting away.
He said he'd find his own way out. I think we should leave him alone to do just that.
You mean... Oh, Simon, how awful.
There, but for the grateful...
Simon,
don't. I wonder what the papers will have to say about it all.
Oh, not much, I shouldn't think. Lover kills mistress, something of the kind.
You make it sound so common and so ordinary.
That's the tragedy of it, Amelia. It is.
You've just heard Dead on Time by Miles McMahon in this week's edition of Radio Theatre. You heard the starring voices of Dennis Smith, Marjorie Gordon, Michael Mayer, Bruce Anderson and Diane Appleby. Dead on Time was adapted and produced for radio by Michael Silver. Radio Theatre comes courtesy of the Springbok Radio Preservation Society of South Africa.